7 o'clock in St. Louis. You are listening to TMA, the program presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN and the Michelob Ultra YouTube channel. And Doug, Jake Reynolds is in the YouTube channel. And he says, "Morning, boys, looking for free ducats to the Blues game. I'm not ashamed to ask. Either way, let's go Blues." So,
me too.
Would you like to provide him with, Jake, do you need 2 or 4?
I don't have ducats myself.
So now we need 4, 6, or 8.
If he's going to take his 4 and me and someone else.
Jackson, do you need tickets?
I was informed that I am not to watch the game.
Oh, yeah.
Who told you that?
Which is tough, that stings. But if it'll help this Blue Note get to glory, then I'll do whatever is necessary.
Okay.
No, it's a superstition thing.
I was told. I was informed.
By who?
I think I started that. I started it.
Yeah, the alliance is strong.
It is. Martin, you'll probably be at the 2 Fox, I would imagine.
Yeah, we'll be down there a little early, Tim. It's a great opportunity. 3.5 hours before the game. You want to remind people that there's a game.
Right.
So, and you also want to remind them that there's a building and that players will be there, although they won't be there when I'm there because it's a little early.
Right.
But we'll get them ready. We like to get people ready for the big game.
Well,
so I will be down there, and then I'll exit the building. I'll probably pass Robert Thomas as he's walking in and I'm walking out, getting ready for the late drop of the puck.
I thought maybe for old time's sake, I might do a selfie stand up out in the parking lot while the game is going on, just to kind of get back in the feel of things for my huge comeback.
Yes.
Come back like Jordan wearing the 4-5.
Caesar can write about Doug's exit, but you never did. Did you leave?
It was my entrance that they wrote about.
Okay.
Vaughn, ready to return to KMOV.
That's right.
Never had any intention.
Sitting on a panel discussing the Cardinals.
Jake Reynolds has specified the number of tickets he needs. 2. He would take 2. And
That's
how many are you looking
reasonable.
for? Are you looking for 2? Are you looking for 4?
Yeah, I'll take 6 to 8.
6 to 8. All right.
I'm going to see what it costs to get in the building tonight.
Okay.
Probably not all that cheap.
I think it's 100 or more, probably. Upper deck.
Yeah, that looks to be about right.
Well, what's the number?
106 is what I'm seeing.
106 just to get in the building.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's before fees, probably.
No, this is all in.
Whoa.
There's an option where you can choose all in, so you know exactly what you're paying.
ESPN.com. Tim says it's not the Bible when it comes to buying tickets.
I don't think that thing's accurate.
75.
Chairman Kurt, you agree it's not accurate?
No, it's not. I've already been on multiple secondary websites this morning.
Are you looking to go?
Oh, I would love to go.
Doug, we all want tickets.
I think so. So please
What a
send in your
sad
tickets.
sports show. Hey, we'd all love to go.
Well, one guy's not allowed to watch, though.
Yeah,
he can go, but he just has to, sit in a cocktail lounge.
Or just face the other direction.
Hey, Bobby Plager would
watch.
not watch during playoff games. He would pace the upper deck. He couldn't stand to watch.
You're welcome to participate in the program by texting in 314-399-9646. You're welcome to call in 314-974-0101 and email in for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day, giving away tickets to Adam Wainwright's concert that's taking place on July 27th. That's the Big League Bash. That's the prize for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. And Doug, 25 hours from now, foursomes for the Dotem go on sale.
Oh, do they?
On 101ESPN.com. That is presented to you by Michelob Ultra. And it is the return of our signature golf tournament here on TMA. It started in 2016. And foursomes will go on sale. The tournament, you can play in one of or both of the days, May 29th, May 30th at Oak Valley Golf Course and Resort. For those of you who may not be familiar with the course, I say it's about 15 minutes south of 270 and 55. That would be my, I guess by definition, it is Peevely. I was down there 3 weeks ago, and I was surprised by how close it was, to be real transparent with you. Get your foursome together. I believe it's about $170 per golfer. That's all, and that's all in.
That's a lot of food. A lot of food.
Well, what it's going to get you is your breakfast from Donut Drive-In, your lunch from Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. On Thursday, the after golf dinner festivities, Texas Roadhouse, and on Friday, Super Smokers Barbecue. And that also includes all your Michelob Ultra, plus the 100 West Dental closest to the pin competition. And now, friend of the program, Chris Pondoff has a longest drive competition brought to you by EDF. That is now a new addition to the festivities. Registration for the Dotem, presented to you by Michelob Ultra, opens tomorrow at 8 a.m. on 101ESPN.com. And our charity partner this year is the St. Louis Hero Network. That's in honor of Brian McKenna, who worked with the St. Louis Hero Network. So portions of the proceeds from the Dotem will go to the St. Louis Hero Network. The Dotem has always had a charity partner. This year, the St. Louis Hero Network, in honor of Brian McKenna. Find all of the information for the Dotem and get your foursome together at 101ESPN.com, May 29th, May 30th at Oak Valley Golf Course. And the Blues will be in L.A. taking on the Kings for Game 5, I think.
That night.
Okay. I think that's what it is.
This is when you could really use Douglas to kind of map this
schedule reading.
Map this thing out.
Just kind of always be there. When you have a question, when do they play? And he'd step right up.
You're damn right he would.
7:30 start. What do you think it'll take to win that long drive event? 300?
I don't know what I'm going to hit it. Depends on what the Hawks doing.
Okay.
I have my fairway finder swing, as you know, and then when I really let this, what did I weigh this morning? $154. When I really let this $154 behind
that's a lot of man.
That's a lot of man meat.
Nutted it. Absolutely nutted it.
Welcome back to Club Pro Guy. So, Doug, I don't know. I guess I can go, what do you think, 335 carry?
Yeah, I hit him that far, but not straight usually. So that's my problem. Sometimes I'm 350, 352.
But it's just dead right?
Yeah, it's right, left. It's Army golf, left, right. Yeah, I never know where it's going.
Army golf, I like that.
Chairman Kurt says Patrick is on the Callier and Thompson
Let's
phone
get
lines.
after it today. Let's
you
go.
You want the phone lines, Martin. Doug thinks they're poisonous.
I do.
We got off to a bad start yesterday. And
by Albert Edison or Alfred Edison or something?
And then nobody called again.
They were petrified. All right, Patrick, good morning. You're on 101 ESPN with Chairman Kurt.
Hey, Tim, thank you. This is Coach Pat Turner from Duchesne High School calling.
Coach Pat Turner from Duchesne High School, Doug.
All right.
Appreciate the time. I hope I can improve upon the calls for the week here. I'll be brief. Chairman let me through. The bar is low. We're putting on a fundraiser soccer game tonight at Duchesne High School for Officer Nathan Speece. If you recall, he was wounded in the line of duty about a month ago. Unfortunately, had to have his leg amputated, and a lot of costs come along with that. And his twin brother, who is a St. Louis firefighter, started the GoFundMe for him. Both these lads played soccer for me at Duchesne. Nick's been coaching with us for about 9 years now. And we're just doing whatever we can. So I was using the power of your airwaves and all your listeners and see we get some soccer fans or just some good-hearted people to come out to the game tonight in St. Charles at 6 o'clock. The color guard's going to be out there for the anthem. We're going to have a flyover. We're doing it right tonight for Nathan and just trying to get support for our St. Louis police officers.
God bless.
Yeah, this is at Duchesne High School.
That is Duchesne High School. It's the other Pioneers, Doug, the Duchesne Pioneers out of St. Charles.
Doug doesn't acknowledge other Pioneers. What time? What else do they need to know?
There's going to be a tailgate going on starting about 4:30. We got Joe Ledbetter on the grill. Get there early. There's going to be QR codes for donations. We got raffle baskets with all sorts of stuff in there. St. Dominic put together a basket for us. That's our opponent tonight, so the always formidable opponent in soccer. We're coming together with the soccer community and just doing what we can to raise money. So, there'll be raffle baskets. There'll be a bunch of different things. There's how the River City, or not the raft, the River Otters used to do chuck a puck. We do chuck a duck, where you throw a duck out onto a target at halftime. So another way to donate and have some fun and win prizes. So, just a great thing coming together for Nathan Speece, our police officer tonight.
God bless, Patrick. Thank you for the work you're doing on it and all of the people involved at Duchenne, and thank you for sharing it with the audience. A number of people have texted in already in support of what you're doing, and certainly big fans of the Officer Spees. So thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, guys, thank you so much. Love the show.
God bless.
Nathan, thank you.
Gentlemen. Yeah, Nathan Spees, who this is St. Louis police officer, he's referencing what the event is for, was struck by a car in March on I-70 while attempting to arrest a suspected car thief. And so they had to amputate a lower part of one of his legs. And so that is the backstory on that for those not familiar with the fundraiser.
Yeah.
I enjoyed him explaining who was on the grill. I got Joe Ledbetter on the grill.
Oh,
I
he
like
don't
that.
play now with the cheeseburgers.
Doug is skeptical of when people talk about their ability to barbecue.
Yeah, there's a lot of barbecue snobs out there. I know just how to do it, and you don't. And if you don't eat it rare, man, you're ruining the steak. Stop it. I'll eat it like I want it. I'm not going to eat rare beef.
What about beef?
Quit it.
Beef tartare served its raw ground beef.
I'm not eating that.
Waffle fries.
It's dangerous. I'm not eating it. But there's a lot of guys that they barbecue once a month, and they think they're these master chefs out in the back. I said, quit it. Stop it. Your wife cooks every night. She doesn't brag about the broccoli she just made or grill, however you make broccoli. But you're out there flipping a burger 3 times and act like you're Guy Fieri.
Some French fries and gravy, sir.
Go to a kid's sporting event, Doug, and listen to the parents talk, and there's usually a dad. Yeah, I got a pork butt on the smoker today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow. You really are a craftsman.
Doug, you definitely are ruining the meat if you don't eat it rare.
Of
That's from the
course.
professor, so I guess
Not true. No. Why would you eat it raw? Why would you do that? Our ancestors figured that out.
dry rub once in a while.
Thousands of years ago, they figured out if you cook it, it tastes better and it's not so dangerous.
Professor, you can call in and you can debate this with Doug, 314-974-01. Doug, I usually love you, but if I see you order a steak more than medium rare, I will run you like Kadri.
Why do you care how someone else has their steak? Why would you care?
I eat it medium. I don't give a rat's ass.
Me too.
You get 1 or 2 more bites per cut of steak. You're literally eating more.
I'm not a fan of E.
Get more
coli.
because it's medium?
Yeah, because it's just a touch more give, and so you get like 1 to 2 more bites per piece.
Touch more give. Martin is thinking through that right now.
Well, if it's really rare, it's going to take like 1 or 2 bites, and then you're going to be ready to swallow. Tee-hee. But if you take like 3 or 4 bites, it feels like you're getting more steak. I can turn an 8-ounce to a 12-ounce. It's like that.
I don't know.
Back me up, Chairman.
This is kind of like that Forest Park math.
Yeah, that's funny math there.
I just want to know if Doug's okay if you douse it in catsup.
I don't care how you eat your steak. Whatever. I'm not an elitist steak snob. If you like it one certain way, have at it.
You want to go to Bonanza for lunch?
I wouldn't mind.
Yeah. Barbecue guy, soccer guy, bourbon guy who calls in to piss and whine his non-funny texts aren't getting read. They all suck! That's from Al, and he's in Dadeville, Doug.
Okay. Yeah, I think I might agree with that. Oh, you have to eat it raw. Why? The animal's barely dead.
We're in lockstep on this one, Doug.
I don't know about it getting you extra bites. I would think if you cooked it more, it would shrivel up more, and then you'd have...
There'd be a little bit more
Less.
shrinkage, but I think the extra bite thing is very real.
Yeah, maybe you're...
And you know how anti-botulism I am.
Oh, yeah, me
So
too.
got to avoid that at all costs.
I like how we went from saluting a great charitable event, and it just went
The real story
sideways.
was the guy on the grill.
Joe Ledbetter on the grill. Kind of like when the lead singer lets you know who's on the bass, who's on the drums,
Yeah.
who's on the grill tonight. Joe Ledbetter. I like that.
You can call in with who is on your grill, 314-974-0101. Text in, as many are doing, 314-399-9646. And then you got that Michelob Ultra YouTube chat where friends gather to talk it over throughout the course of the presentation, which is fascinating. Martin Kilcoyne with Martin. Friends gathering for 4 hours just to talk it over.
Yeah, I'm amazed that people are able to clear their schedule. You know who hasn't been in a while is our barge guy. Jackson.
Oh, he's been in. We just haven't had a chance to get to him.
Oh, I see.
Pestis has also he's called in.
He's made himself available a few times.
I actually wrote a program for my phone where I just push one button and it texts him.
Is that right?
Pestis
AI,
line
that's
one.
the magic of AI.
Oh.
Yeah.
What does it say? What's that generated comment say? Oh, we'd love to hear from you, but we're just a little busy right now talking grilling.
What's wrong with your phone line?
I just needed a more expedited way to let Tim know that Pestis is on.
Oh, to Tim. I thought you were texting the caller and saying, sorry.
No.
We're just
That's how I find
slammed."
out who is on the phone lines.
It's a very sophisticated
It
process.
is, yes.
So my tell is going to be whenever Tim goes, anyway, there isn't much going on. Doug, what do you got? That's a sign that a couple people are on hold.
That's correct.
But we're going to wait.
We're going to pass. We're going to pass. Jackson seems like a chicken breast guy rather than a hearty steak. That's from Matthew. Doug, do you pronounce it Kapfer?
I do.
Kapfer?
Yeah.
I mean, I like both. If you're asking,
Especially Lee's fried chicken.
Lee's fried chicken's outstanding. I like the potato wedges. But if like at a wedding, if it's like chicken or steak, I'm gonna choose steak.
You're just going to get it medium well.
Medium. I like it medium. I like.
Then you're not a tough guy. Unless you have it raw.
care.
You're just not a
I
tough
grew up.
man.
If I had steak as a kid, my dad would make it on the charcoal grill, which gives it a very fun flavor, like a really good
fun flavor.
It is
Fun
fun.
flavors,
It
Doug.
is. It's a fun flavor. It's a little different. But he would always just cook it kind of medium. That's how he cooked it. So that's what I'm used to. That's what I like. And I don't care what someone says. Cooking the nutrients out of it. Kick rocks.
Okay.
It's a big Kick Rocks Thursday.
Quit talking golf. No one cares about golf.
Oh.
When do we talk golf?
Don't
The
know.
Dotem?
Just the tournament we got coming up.
Yeah. Then the gentleman follows up. Can you finally admit that Marmol needs to go? No more excuses. Good managers get the best from their players. Since you're on the Cardinals payroll, you most likely will give a dozen excuses. Second, I'm hitting, middling pitching, now last place team. Last year, great bullpen and middling hitting, almost last place team. Quit making excuses. By the way, Schilt would have this team in first place. Doug, that's from Evil Calvin.
Okay.
You think it's real?
Evil Calvin.
Jackson's trying to figure out if he's snuffing out a bluff to the pot or is in like a satire of what Doug would call Hilljack.
Yeah.
I think it's real. I'm going to fold. I think it's real. I think it's pocket
you doing, a
nines.
little history?
I could probably win, but I'm going to fold. And my reason, the quit talking golf usually is kind of my Teddy KGB Oreo. That's usually, especially when all we were doing was our obligation to promote the Dotem read. It wasn't breaking down the Zurich Classic this week, Doug, and I know you like Aaron Rye and Sahith Thagala, and you're going to break that down coming up at about 8:35. But also on the Stiefel dossier, outside of Doug breaking down the Zurich Classic, we have Bernie Federko with us on the program at 8:15 and Jeremy Rutherford with us on the program at 9:30. And I believe he takes two-part questions. Then we got that Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. The morning after at InsideSTL.com is how you can participate in the program. Right now it is the JV golf coach leading this month with 5 wins. Buck Swope with 2, Misty Plops with 2, and there's that self-made stay-at-home Ledoux mom with 1. Keep an eye on her. She's trying to make her case to be on Doug's Real Housewives of TMA.
It's in pre-production at the moment, Tim. A lot of high-level meetings.
The audition process is underway. So there is your Stiefel dossier for today's program. The Robert Thomas situation certainly got a lot of attention yesterday. We will discuss that coming up here next on the program. It is TMA, and it is presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN.
bleed blue and gold. It's what we do. Stanley singing, come on, St. Louis.
This guitar solo will be blasting through the Enterprise Center tonight as Game 3 gets underway. And Robert Thomas, Martin, he will be on the ice, but he wasn't on the ice yesterday. It was called a maintenance day.
Like a good maintenance day, Tim? Every once in a while, just a maintenance day.
If I had a maintenance day scheduled tomorrow, I would be able to stay up until midnight to watch all of the game tonight. Instead, I'll be watching it at approximately 4 a.m. tomorrow morning,
Oh, gosh.
4 hours after it concludes. Robert Thomas not skating yesterday. And now that which we were kind of reading between the lines before is now just kind of accepted as one of those playoff truths that he got injured. As we saw, he left the ice following the final regular season game or during the final regular season game. And now it is clearly something that's bothering him.
Mm-hmm. Those guys do get just outstanding, unbelievable medical care. Sometimes they come back from injuries, not just hockey, all sports. They come back from what might keep the average person out a month or more. They come back just in a matter of days or a week or something. It's incredible the progress they make on some of the injuries. So hopefully he's got an issue like that.
When the playoffs end, it is part of the tradition when they rattle off what everyone had. And I love, they'll say, yeah, so-and-so actually tore his ACL 2 months ago. And you're like, holy crap. Yeah, he had a blown-out rotator cuff. You find out later how severe it is. I guess you can't hide the fact that Thomas is injured to some degree. You just don't know the extent of it and how it's affected. It'd be horrible to find out that it really did affect his playing because he was at an MVP level for 2 months. I mean, the most points of any player in the NHL since the Four Nations break, and now that guy, to some degree, is limited.
Doug, you always talk about puck luck.
Always. Yeah.
You really do, and I think there is a lot to be said for it. But another element of it is, if you look back on 2019 relative to the teams the Blues were playing, especially toward the tail end of those series where they had, ground their opponents down, the Blues were healthy. And unfortunately, it's a real shame because just a couple weeks ago they were pretty damn healthy. That it's just not where
it happened right there at the end too.
But again, anytime we talk about the 2025 St. Louis Blues, the thing that I'll keep holding on to and in some capacity be just in awe of is the fact that they really went on their run when their MVP at the time was lost for a month and change in Colton Parayko. So who knows, but this is a real storyline, and it is a real unfortunate storyline for the Blues.
Yeah, not to mention Holloway out, and we may not see him.
That's the one that I'm really focused on. But now Thomas in addition, and Parayko probably isn't the same guy that he was when he got hurt in L.A.
Right. Yeah. Other teams got him too, but it's really hard to make a long playoff run if you don't have your top players. Hard, if not impossible to do. But that's what
why,
they're faced
Doug,
with.
a week in between games is perfect.
Yeah, it helps.
Rest up.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't hurt. That's for sure.
Can't wait for tonight. Gosh, it's going to be exciting. It's been 3 years since we had a playoff game in San Boy. That one did not end well. That season ended in just the final seconds, Colorado. But I think they'll come out flying tonight. And who was it? Was it you asking Rivers the first goal? Does it matter? I don't know. I feel like if you're a team that's kind of on the edge, a little nervous, maybe just a little tight, you get that early goal. I didn't play in the NHL like Jamie Rivers did, Doug, but I kind of feel like that first goal tonight would really take it to the next level in terms of just the energy in the building.
I think it sure would for the fans.
Because they're nervous, too, for sure.
Yeah.
Winnipeg minus 122 on the money line. Blues plus 102. So it's essentially, in Las Vegas, it's about a 53-47 flip, for lack of a better term. Doug, you got ace king, I got pocket queens. Let's run it twice.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll just see what happens. That's what the numbers are. If you had the Capitals minus a goal and a half, you enjoyed their goal last night against the Canadiens with 0.7 seconds to make it 3-1. Meanwhile, I really still like the Colorado Avalanche. I think the Stars have led that series for about 58 seconds, yet they lead, and as far as all of the gameplay, yet they lead the series 2-1 as they get an overtime winner last night. I think that this Papers has the audio.
Has he? Okay, let's hear it.
Can't take the puck away. Now does. Skates the stick away from Drouin. Played ahead to Marchment. Marchment drives to the net. He holds, finds a cutter. Score! Marchment sets up Sagan.
Doug,
Tyler Sagan with the goal.
Tyler Sagan with the goal. The Stars had to kill a 4-minute penalty, and they win in Denver, so they lead that series 2-1. And I'll tell you this is something that really might bode well for the Blues, and hoisting that chalice at the parade June 14th at noon. You know what 2001, 2016, and 2019 all had in common?
They were all years in the 21st century.
That is correct.
Yeah.
There are other things that those years had in common.
What was that?
The Blues made it to the conference finals.
Oh, okay.
You know what else they had in common?
I don't really know.
They played the Stars in the second round in 2001.
Okay.
Sweep. Matthew Perry was in the building at Reunion Arena. 2016, 7 games and a skull pounding in Game 7 in Dallas. And 2019, of course, how do you do, hometown hero?
Okay.
Think about that.
Yeah,
So if the
I'll think
Stars
about
are in
that
the
for a
second
while.
round, that means at a minimum the Blues go to the conference finals, where they play either the Kings or Wild. Is that the deal?
It's almost
Kings are
automatic.
really good, by the way. And maybe
Kingy.
all year we didn't talk about how good they were.
We talked about their home record and how the Blues went out
Yeah.
there and picked out 3 or 4 points, which was great considering the situation at the time. That was right after Preko's injury and the trade deadline. But yeah, they, I would imagine they are Banty Roosters in Edmonton this morning as they are staring down the barrel of a 2-0 deficit. And unlike the Blues and Jets, those games, I mean, Edmonton fell behind 4-0 in Game 1. To their credit, they came back, and then LA won it late in the third period after Edmonton had 2 empty net goals. Last night, nothing doing there, and the Kings head to Edmonton with a 2-0 lead.
Going back to Dallas, it's amazing how they have kept that core together. The goal scorers were Jamie Benn and Tyler Sagan. Those guys have been there forever, and they've added on Robertson. I knew I was hurt, Ottinger, the goalie, but they've kept that core, that older core together. And I'm sure there's a narrative in Dallas, too. We've been really good for a while. When are we going to win something? It's amazing how many of these franchises are kind of having that same conversation. Winnipeg, Dallas. It's our turn. When are we going to win something? And if it's Dallas, that's great. If it's Colorado, Doug, I don't care. As long as we're in that next round, we'll take all comers.
It's great if the Blues can extend it because playoff hockey is about the best sports entertainment out there, for my money.
I know you say WrestleMania is, but I think give me the win tonight, Doug, so I can believe for a couple of days going into that matinee. And, of course, if they're able to win both in St. Louis, it sets up that Sundress Showdown a week from tomorrow night.
That's how it's being billed?
A Sundress Showdown. That's how they're marketing it. I would suggest that to generous executive Mike Caruso, a near and dear friend of the show, that they market it as the Sundress Showdown for Friday, May 2nd at Enterprise Center.
Where all fans, male and female, must show up in a sundress? I'll be darned. It's unique, I'll give you that.
Like, put the power in the power play. Hashtag curious.
Hashtag curious. I like that. Of course the Kings are good. That's who Army has modeled his rebuild plans after. That's from Magic Beans.
Don't yell at us.
I like that text name.
The Kings' black jerseys are elite. That's from Jackson's buddy Eric in the Central West End.
Let me take a look.
You don't know the Kings' black jerseys?
I mean,
Silver.
I can picture
Silver
them.
and gold,
But are they the ones with the chevron-looking logo on the front? Absolutely. Those are 10 out of 10.
Is that a chevron?
I think it is.
Isn't that like the shape? It looks like the Chevy logo.
Chevy or Chevron? We've listed a couple different...
Oh, yeah. It was Chevy logo. I don't know why I said chevron. I thought that was like a shape.
It's like a stripe you put on your shoulder, right? If you're in the military, you get it's kind of like a half a triangle or 2/3 of a triangle.
Yeah. It's an odd shape. Either way, yes, the Kings' black uniforms are outstanding.
Okay.
Cool
good.
Dallas, Colorado audio. Hey, play more of those AI songs. Great stuff. That's from Ernie Bjorkman.
Stop giving us the business, Bjorkman.
I think Jackie did a great job. Did you notice on that goal call that Bob was choosing, I believe, ESPN, also calls Jets games with Anthony Beck. But you had a nice kind of fade out there. I noticed in that
Trying
audio.
to issue a response to Doug on the audio cuts? Martin, you think he did?
I think the way that was cut was proper editing.
Thank you.
You did a nice little soft fade of the audio.
Thank you.
So it was not abrupt, and yet you didn't get any credit for it. Just grief when it doesn't sound good.
No, I appreciate it.
Great job.
Thank you. It's not the first time I've used the fade out before. I use it often.
Do you?
But you don't fade out a manager when he finishes a sentence. You just, when he finishes a sentence,
Hard
it's
out.
over.
Hard out.
What do you mean?
I mean, it stops. When he's done, he's done.
Yeah, right.
Full
It's not a
stop.
fade out.
Also,
It's not
Ali
like
Marmol
music.
has a bad habit of finishing his sentences with "yeah."
Okay, and you don't like to
He
include
just
that?
says "yeah." Yeah,
Like Cassidy? Like, yeah.
it's a little less. I don't know what the word
But
is.
that's okay. Then you ended on that, and then we comment on him, not you.
That's never happened once, so I don't know why that would start.
Maybe you should give us another shot.
Pop some damn Advil and get out there, you baby. Let's go Blues. That's Sharon in Clayton, and she's not happy with something, but I don't know what.
Blues players possibly not playing?
Who's not playing?
We said, I don't know. Thought maybe
Holloway.
Thomas was banged up.
Whenever the season ends, Doug, I mean, I guess it could be Sunday at 3.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be, what would you say, June 14th with that parade?
I would imagine.
I'll be looking forward to the Holloway announcement with what was going on. That's the one that I will be. That's circled on my dossier?
Lower body is all we know now.
No. I don't think that we're going to be seeing him anytime soon.
No, probably not.
We'll see how Thomas performs this evening as the Blues and Jets will get underway. I'll say right around 9 o'clock. Hell, I don't know. I'll be ready to go. Be ready to go at 8:30, and we'll just figure it out from there. Pregame here on 101 ESPN starts at 7:30, though, I can tell you that. Papers, what do we have here with this sound? I don't know what this is. I'm kind of surprised you found it.
You're speaking of
the Sportsnet Hockey Pod.
Yes. So this is Elliot Friedman, Kyle Bukowskis, and Justin Cuthbert.
Doug, you spent some time in Rochester, Minnesota with Kyle.
I did. We go way back to Minnesota, southeastern Minnesota, and all the times we had there.
Yeah, and it's them talking about the Blues and Jets series.
Okay.
You know, guys, Winnipeg delivering through 2 games, probably what most people expected, and I still think credit goes to the Blues, and most specifically Jim Montgomery. It feels like to me that Monty has this team playing near or at the top of their potential performance range because they're making things real difficult on Winnipeg, and I don't know if they have the same horses. They are asking serious questions of Winnipeg, even if it's 2-0, because these games have been tight.
Like, I'll tell you, someone who was watching that game said to me, this guy's been around the NHL for a long time, he said that first period was one of the nastiest, meanest periods he'd seen in quite some time. Like, there were guys getting hit I could not believe they were getting up from. Like that Kyrou hit from Logan Stanley, I could not believe he came back into that game. But, again, it was a tough, tight game, and it was tied going into the third period, and the Jets won it, and Hellebuck was better. I'll say this. Winnipeg's best players have been excellent. And it's not like St. Louis is bad, but Winnipeg's best players have been making the difference over St. Louis's best players.
I agree with that assessment. And that is why, speaking to what they're saying there, that I expect, and Jamie Rivers said this when he was with us yesterday, I expect that tonight it's going to be anarchy. I really do. I think, and that's not just because it's the first playoff game in St. Louis. And would you say, Martin, 3 years?
3-ish, right around the time.
Yeah. I think, because I think that's probably, and mainly in part because of the health situation, the Blues' best chance to win this series. They're going to have to play that way. And I think maybe it's subconscious. I don't know. The Jets, I think it's pretty obvious, had higher expectations going into the postseason. I don't know how it couldn't be. I think they probably had higher expectations going into the regular season. And then you start the regular season the way they did with that winning streak, much less now where they are up 2-0. There could be some conscious to, okay, we've got to make sure that we stay healthy so that we can survive the Stanley Cup playoff marathon. And so the Blues, in the essentially do-or-die spot that they are in, I think they are going to be human missiles tonight down at Enterprise Center, Doug, and that's going to create some entertainment and a building that is fired up.
Expect Braden Sheen and Oscar Sundquist to go crazy. I suppose those are the two most physical guys. Fox has got some sandpaper to his game. And, Nathan Walker's not afraid to upset a few apple carts. I love that one.
He gets a little banty out there. He's fun to watch. And that Torovchenko, man, he is a unit. That's the biggest. I'm telling you, you go down there and interview these guys, that's one of the biggest hockey guys I've seen in a while. And when you watch him get hit, he doesn't move.
No, and he'll pet the cat the wrong way.
Wow. Excuse me, sir?
He'll pet the cat the wrong way.
Martin, have you heard that one before?
I don't think I have. Doug may have just made it up, but I like it.
No.
Braden Sheen.
Did Emile Francis used to say that?
Probably.
Hey, bozo, Chevron and Chevrolet are completely different. That's from Harrison's brother Master. And then Mr. Licks, you thought a Chevron was a shape. Get lost.
Hey,
That's from Mr. Licks. And that really upset members of the listening audience, Jackson.
I'm sure they'll get over it.
I think they will, too. They're probably over it now.
It's undeniable that the LA Kings, that black uniform with the silver Chevy kind of looking logo, not a Chevron, is awesome. I mean, that's...
So you're on board with Eric in the Central West End there?
Yeah, big time.
Would you consider buying a Kings hat, even though you're not a fan of that team?
Oh, you just burned the dossier.
I just asked a question.
That's all. You just burned the Stiefel dossier.
I just
Look
asked
at the look on Jackson's face.
I just wanted to know your thoughts, not on any baseball team, but on an NHL team.
I would, yes, that would be.
Okay.
I would not have any qualms.
That's all I wanted to ask.
I would have no qualms about that. I think I used to have, it was like a different brand, but it kind of like was inspired by the Kings jerseys there, and it was a great hoodie. I missed that hoodie.
Never mind. That's all I wanted to know. Nothing.
Well,
further.
You compare it to the Avalanche uniforms, which might be the worst in all of North American sports.
Wow.
The Avalanche? You don't like the color, that maroon
logo, color scheme?
There's a lot going on there.
It's odd. The pants, awful.
I have to tell you, especially when they went from the Quebec Nordiques sweater to whatever that is, with whatever colors those are.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, that's a tough situation.
I'm just looking at the Nordiques for the surprisingly first time.
Oh!
Outstanding.
Gosh.
Just outstanding. These are beautiful. I think, is that an elephant? I don't know. But it looks great.
Nordique, of course, is an elephant.
It looks like an elephant, does it not? Like a hockey elephant.
Hockey elephant.
But the Avalanche, the colors make no sense. Oh, it's awful. And what do you know? A Kroenke-owned vehicle.
Oh.
Nice.
They've looked like that for a while.
That was a crowd pleaser right there at the end.
Well,
Call that the cheap pop.
I needed a little comeback, you know.
Did after the hockey elephant comment.
Yeah. It's like when you go read in elementary school, you know.
Boy, that Kroenke, I hate
back
that
on your
guy.
side. Mm-hmm. Yeah, God. Puck Kroenke, I say.
Yeah.
Vegas Deli Mustard Nights is the worst. That's from Jamie's Vacation Speedo.
Honestly, most of the West Coast. Vegas, maybe Kraken.
San Jose.
Not great.
Vancouver's got great uniforms, especially that blue with the green.
They diversify.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at what they were wearing when they were playing the Rangers in the 94 Mike Keenan Stanley Cup, a little different sweater. And then in the early 1980s or 70s, they just had a yellow mustard sweater with a big V on it.
They lost their minds there for a while. But that blue sweater they wear with the green and the hockey stick logo, that's pretty cool.
Solid. I would say that you could say the original six are the top six sweaters in all of hockey. I'd give that take. Yeah, I think.
That means St. Louis Blues aren't in there, though.
Yeah, and it's a good one. It's a good one. But the original six, all of those are outstanding uniforms.
By the way, Jackson, a chevron is a V-shaped mark or symbol.
Okay,
often,
so it is
often inverted.
Wow, what are you going to say back to Mr. Licks?
Again, make your apology as loud as your disrespect.
Oh, my.
Put that on a shirt.
It's still not that much related to Chevrolet.
No, that's a fair, but to say, I said it was a shape, and it is a shape. So
A V-shaped mark or symbol, often inverted.
It's like the stripes on a military uniform.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Well, you never know what we're going to have to workshop on this show. It's nice to get that ironed out.
Can Jackie even name the original six? That's from longer than Martin's onboarding.
Sure, Detroit Red Wings, Chicago Blackhawks.
Sure.
Toronto Maple Leafs, Boston Bruins.
2 more left, Doug.
Montreal Canadiens. The sixth one gets tough.
Oh,
the sixth one gets tough.
No. Oh, no. Not now. Not on the day of Game 3 here in St. Louis, Missouri.
Did I say Boston?
Yes, you did.
Rats. Rangers. New York Rangers.
Yes!
All right. There we go.
What a moment here for little Jackie Paper.
He applauded himself.
And yeah, all 6 of those uniforms are awesome.
I'm going to give you a chevron.
Thank you.
I own too much Chevron stock to give a crap about a chevron shape. Try again, movie boy. That's from Mr. Licks, Doug.
If Chevron is in public, I'm going to go nuts.
You think it's a privately held?
Why not? You know.
Are you researching it now?
Yes, he is.
Okay,
He's
he
in
is.
the midst of it. Hey, you can email in on your portfolio the morning after at InsideSTL.com for the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day. Doug, you got playoff hockey in St. Louis and glorious weather in St. Louis.
Sure do.
And I thank Seth Goldcamp for that. Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling online at designairservice.com. Martin's a client, Doug's a client, I'm a client. It's time to start getting that air conditioning ready because we are entering the month of May. The temperatures will rise. You want to make sure the air conditioning's firing on all cylinders. Go to designairservice.com and get it checked out for the warm weather months in St. Louis. The longest running sponsor on TMA is Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling. That's Seth Goldcamp and his team. DesignairService.com. Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling, sponsor of our email of the day. Jackson Burkett is back with his stock report.
Yeah, it's public. So, joke's on me, I guess.
Well, it's an enormous company.
You didn't think like a guy owned it?
No.
I don't know. You
Probably
never know.
not.
You never know.
Bob Chevron?
Bobby Chevron.
You know.
Can we get some more motivational words from Sharon? There is nothing more inspirational than the toughness and tenacity of a Clayton housewife. Go play mahjong and quit yapping. That's from Arbor Day Doug, who is sideways with one of the stars of the Real Housewives of TMA, Sharon and Clayton, who I think is going to be in the building tonight. I think she said that.
What is mahjong?
Jackson?
Isn't it? It's like a kind of card game with tiles. 3 crack, 2 bam.
Wow, you actually do know about this.
That's George Costanza's wife, or I'm sorry, George Costanza's mother in Seinfeld was playing mahjong. That's what she was yelling. 3 crack, 2 bam. Estelle Harris? Is that the name?
Estelle Getty.
Correct. Rue McClanahan, B. Arthur, Betty White.
Probably
Estelle
have
Harris.
some older ladies that get together. And
Yeah. It's
folks
like
play euchre.
or cribbage, bridge, pinochle, all the above.
Mahjong.
Yeah, like non-gambling card games.
Go fish.
Boys, who's an unlikely goal scorer you like tonight? I'm looking to sprinkle. That's from Doug Shower Squeegee.
Okay, you're just guessing with that kind of thing. Absolute guess.
Foxa.
Wow.
You could say any name. It's a complete guess.
I'll make a play. One that I think, he's already got one in the series, but I think he's going to have a big night. Human Missile, 70.
Sonny.
Yep. Kind of like that play. If you're looking to sprinkle, there's my play. You're firing, you're just buying a lottery ticket, but yeah, I think he's going to have a big night.
Doug, who's big for you?
I'll say Snuggie. Snuggeroo.
Snipes?
He's not afraid to shoot. So many of them want to pass. He fires it. I'll take him.
But that building's going to be bat crap tonight. That's going to be a bat crap building tonight. Full of hope, full of dreams. And I think the boys are going to put on a show. I don't know if it'll lead to a win, but if Winnipeg's to win, they're going to pay a price. You follow me?
Yes.
Yes.
Blues will come after him. They'll come after him. Human missiles, as you say.
The game doesn't start till 8:46-ish. They got time. Why don't they roll out some of these songs? The pregame's going to last 3 hours.
You could make like a 2-hour concert before the game.
Just AI-generated songs.
The Blues do have to be careful, though, because if you fall behind by a goal or two, you can't really run around crazy and get more penalties, and next thing you know, you're down by 3 or 4, and then it's over. So it's a fine line between being super aggressive and throwing your weight around and establishing physical dominance and taking penalties that are going to cost you the rest of the playoff series.
You can give your thoughts, 314-399-9646. That's how you can text into this program. And then a week from today, Little Jackie Papers will be back to work updating the names in the Air Comfort Service text inbox for the first week of each month. In 24 hours and 10 minutes, the foursomes for the Dotem, presented to you by Michelob Ultra, will be available to book at 101ESPN.com. Friends of Brian McKenna have already booked some foursomes. We did that as a tribute to Brian for his friends who wanted to make sure they were able to play. Make sure you get yours tomorrow at 101ESPN.com right at 8 a.m. It's May 29th and May 30th at Oak Valley Golf Course, and your foursome and each person gets complimentary breakfast from Donut Drive-In, lunch from Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, and then the after-party food is from Texas Roadhouse on Thursday, Super Smokers on Friday, and throughout the day, all your Michelob Ultra is all included. Plus, the EDF Group has the Long Drive contest, and 100 West Dental has the closest to the whole contest. And that is all coming up at the Dotem as it returns for the first time since 2023, this time at Oak Valley Golf Course. Book your foursome, get your friends together. Let's get out there and get after it. May 29th and May 30th. You can play on either day or both if you want. 101ESPN.com tomorrow at 8 a.m. is where you can go to get your foursome scheduled. 100 West Dental is the sponsor of the closest to the pin. 100 West Dental is online at 100westdental.com. That's Dr. Brandon Pryor. His offices are located on Manchester in Baldwin. And I know plenty of people go, man, I have zero interest in going to the dentist. And I understand that. Plenty of people feel that way. But dental health is related to your overall health, and just getting checked up is such a significant way to make sure you maintain not only the health of your teeth and gums, but your overall health. That's something that people might not think about, probably because dental insurance and medical insurance are separate, but that is not the way that it works with the body's biochemistry. So make sure you get checked up. And I will tell you this, having been to 100 West Dental, it does not look like your standard dentist office. He has the newest technology. It's right there on Manchester in Baldwin. Go to 100westdental.com. You don't have to pick up the phone. You just go to 100westdental.com. No phone call needed to get in. Just check the calendar online for availability and book right then and there. You mentioned my name. You get $1,000 off Invisalign. So if that's something you're interested in, you get $1,000 off Invisalign with 100 West Dental. And if you're on the fence about Invisalign, they have a digital scanner that can show you a simulation of what it'll look like before you even go through with it. No dental insurance, that's not a problem. They have a membership plan that aids in the cost of dental work for those who don't have dental insurance. Let them know you're a TMA listener. 100westdental.com. Bernie Federko, 8:15. Jeremy Rutherford, 9:30. Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day, 10:45. This program is called TMA, and it's brought to you by Brown & Crouppen on 101 ESPN and the TMA STL YouTube channel.
Have you checked out Green Envy Lawns yet? Well, if your lawn is not looking good, and it should this time of year, but you seem to see two different types of lawns right now, those that are in perfect shape because we've had rain and some sunshine, and then those that have been overrun with crabgrass and a bunch of dandelions, and it really does ruin the look of your property. Well, Green Envy can help with all that. They've been doing it for more than a decade now in St. Louis. They only use products that are formulated for our Missouri soil, weather conditions, and turf types. They do not use those national generic products that that you might buy at a big box store. They'll come out, spray your yard, get it going. There is no charge for weed touch-up or reapplying the weed control for Green Envy customers. Crabgrass is a big problem with the massive amounts of moisture that we get, so let Green Envy help you out with that situation. Their programs have no hidden fees and no contract. They're open Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Give them a call, ask them questions. They'll tell you what you need to do to get your lawn in great shape. The website is greenenvylawns.com.
This is Action Jackson with the Sports Center update. That's driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Game 3, Blues and Jets tonight, right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 7:30. Puck drops at 8:30. That was another Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
TMA 101 ESPN. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne with you here on the program. And we welcome you to participate by calling in 314-974-0101, by texting in 314-399-9646. And then you just can get in there in that YouTube chat, Doug, youtube.com/TMASTL. And it's the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat, 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbohydrates. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. And boy, today would be a day to enjoy it. Beautiful forecast in the St. Louis area throughout the course of the day. Highs in the upper 70s. And then the Blues will take the ice this evening. At Martin, you're saying 8:47? Is that what your number is?
He said 8:48 yesterday, and I said 8:49.
Oh, that's Price is right at him.
Yeah.
Gosh. Yeah, good forecast here over the weekend too. Glorious. So there's 228 in there. They're talking it over.
And they're happy. They're happy because it's a Blues playoff day. The Cardinals don't play. No reason to complain about that. Life is good.
I don't know what this means. It's from Codeine Cardinals. Well, used to, I don't know if Martin will play PR Plays GM.
Let's go ahead and block him.
Well, he might be a question. I didn't lie. It might have been abbreviations because I just dropped by, and that was the first thing.
That's not good enough.
Too Fat to Kayak says, Adam, they all can play. They'll broadcast until 10, tee off at 10:30. The 11 o'clock show will start broadcasting an hour early. That actually was accurate information. I think that's in reference to us playing in the Dotem.
Was the question that was hard to decipher about me onboarding, therefore not being able to golf?
Maybe that's what it was.
Doug's already blocked him. We can't go back now.
Yeah. Well, he deserved it for the.
I'm going to push back onboarding for the Dotem.
Wow.
Actually, they ran it up to corporate, and it's in discussion.
How about that?
Can't wait.
Yeah, looking forward to playing. I am playing on Thursday. I'm hoping to play with my father. You've heard an impression of him as Jimmy Stewart on this program for the last 6 months. And then my son. Let him get the chance to see the pageantry of the Dotem, Doug.
Oh, boy.
When the tournament had its first event in 2016, he was not around. And I think once you turn 7, you're ready for the Dotem. I think there'll be a lot of 7-year-olds out there.
It's going to be hard to get him away from the whole fryer trough.
Lee's famous recipe.
No, 7-year-old, he'll be all in on the donuts.
Yeah.
Just give Timmy the trophy already, okay? We've already figured out who's going to win.
I think by playing with my father and my 7-year-old, I'm at the very least conceding Thursday we won't be going low. If we can get into the red numbers, it would be an accomplishment.
Well, you still got an opening for one more, right? You don't want them.
I think I'll just hit twice.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, the rules don't apply to you.
Amen. I agree with that.
With this, I'm new here, but with this crew that texts in consistently, they all have singular names. Will there be a lot of singles out there at the golf tournament, or will we pair?
Jackson, what's the story?
Do we pair up? Like, does the Maplewood Muffin Man play with Too Fat to Kayak? Do we have Fuelsy over here with Buzz? I mean, do they all, or do they come as a foursome?
It's a good question.
I'm assuming they all have friends. I wasn't insinuating otherwise.
Sure. I wish I could give you a solid answer. I simply do not know.
I would like to see the score sheet and have all these random names all
It's always
together.
been fun. Like, there's never been like a guy, like a group where it was like, I'm just one guy, I'm going to hit 4 times. I've never seen that in any of my experiences.
Didn't think one guy would hit 4 times.
You mean like random guys
and then pair it up? Like if
I don't know. Honestly.
If Bobby and Baldwin signs up and says, "Hey, I listen every day. I'd like to play," will we just pair them up with some other?
It's a good question. One of the best questions I've ever heard. I just don't have a solid answer for you.
That's all right. Well, you don't have to. It's not your job to know that. You're having a big day.
We'll get there.
I think sometimes the guys come out to these events and they don't tell us what their text name is. They just play by their government names.
Right.
And then on the way out.
If there's a meat suit out there or something.
Meat suit. Chris is on the line, Doug, and he wants to talk about it. Chris, you're on the Callier and Thompson phone lines. Bernie Federko will be on those phone lines here in about 12 minutes. Good morning, Chris.
Hey, guys. Hey, good morning, you guys. Yeah, it's Chris. Last name is Nonenkamp. Nonenkamp.
Okay, Nonenkamp, write it down.
It's just like hitting, guys. There's only one style that this team for the past 5 years can do to compete. We don't have, a lot of firepower like we used to with the MV3.
Oh, we're talking
or some teams that have it from first to 5, like the old Cleveland Indians, if you guys remember that.
Sure. What the hell are you talking about?
But today I want to remember about pitching, because we do got to hit up the middle and the opposite field. That's what we got to keep on doing and fighting like Indians. But for our pitching, we all remember Jeff Suppan.
Yeah.
And I remember he made a name for himself, and he wasn't even the number one guy. He wasn't even, Joe McGrain or Bob Tewksbury or Joaquin Andujar then, but Jeff Suppan just kept the ball.
He kept the ball.
Here's what I
That's
want
one
you
of the
to picture.
secrets. Chris, are you the one who wanted Mason Win? Chris, are you the one who? I'm sorry, Chris Nonenkamp. Nonekam. Are you the one who wanted Mason Win to move to second base to save his arm?
Yeah, why not? I mean, Sagasi, he could play at shortstop even for us.
Yeah. Aren't you worried about Sagasi's arm then?
No. I'm
He's
worried
apparently
about this
disposable.
guy's arm that we have right now, because he throws the ball almost like Sean Dunston used to do.
And then do you eventually move Win to first?
No, we're not talking about moving. We're talking about our pitching staff.
Oh, sorry.
These guys are who they are.
Sorry.
We don't have, like I said, Joe McGrain or Matt Morris and things like that no more.
So this is the show, huh?
But why can't we have a pitching coach that throws right at the kneecaps all the time?
Well, pitching coaches don't get to play.
Okay, if you picture, Doug, if you picture a picnic bench at the park.
Okay,
why can't, like the hitting coach teaches these guys, where to picture a ball coming through the zone? Why can't the pitching coach show everyone? And this is very, very helpful. Okay, because if you throw at the knees, remember a picnic bench has 2 horizontal planes, the tabletop and the place where you sit. Why can't you throw it at the bench where you sit all the time? Whether you have 5 pitches, a cutter, a slurve, a sweeper, a 4-seam fastball, a 2-seam fastball, why can't you doink the ball right off of that spot?
Okay.
The bench.
Like Jeff Suppan used to.
Boy, that guy, he saved us, didn't he?
Yeah, Game 7, 2004, Game 7, 2006.
I wouldn't mind him saving us right now.
He had a nice career.
Soup, call in.
I'll talk to you guys. You have a great day.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
It's Chris.
Thank you.
Hey, we're talking pitching. Don't ask any questions.
Doug, you were scolded.
Unrelated to the agenda today. I just figured if you're going to save Mason Win by moving him to second base, then you just move him to first and don't have to throw it at all.
Can I give you my starting lineup?
No.
How about if I come down there, Mike?
And we worry about giving in-depth analysis.
What?
And then that's the analysis that we get spit back to us.
Not one word was said.
Say, I want to ask you a big favor. How about I come up to the station on Friday? Could I come up and meet you?
No.
Maybe we need to start saying no more.
What just happened?
Great call, Chris. Now I know the full name of the worst caller in the history of radio. That's from Rob McClanahan. But my friends call me Rue. Chris, I like to spell as well. B-L-E-A-C-H. Doug, that comes from the 314. Hey, Chris, congratulations on being able to spell. Now, grab a cinder block, wrap your arms around it, and jump off the stand span.
Oh.
That's from the Veiled Prophet. He hosts that ball that you attend. And let's see. I think it's time to just kill the phone line. That's from the old Appleton stepdad.
Nope,
And he gets out there on the front porch in old Appleton and enjoys a country time lemonade in his rocking chair. Doug, it's a wonderful sight.
Here's some guy wondering if Joe Ledbetter can put him on the grill. That seems a little drastic.
Wow.
Ruin me.
The Pope, he's gone. The Pope was on the line.
Wow.
Doug, I played the Pope. Was that in last year's Fan Page Club Championship?
I think you got him 2 years in a row, correct?
I think I played him. He got me in year 1. Boy, he could really roll the rock, and I don't think it was fluky. I just think that's a skill he has, kind of like a Brad Faxon thing. And I was very, very, very fortunate to get him last year. He was on the Collier and Thompson phone lines. He's no longer on the Collier and Thompson phone lines.
Call back.
Chris, really, you don't want to follow that song and dance. You just gave me a sign, and I don't know what it means.
He back.
Oh, okay.
back.
Good morning, the Pope.
Good morning, Tim.
Morning, the Pope. How are you?
I'm good. I'm going to a member guest, and I actually just needed some advice. It's match play, and I don't know what to do, so I just figured I'd call you for more advice.
For heaven's sakes. Lots of people know what match play is all about. It's not just Tim.
Yeah, but I mean...
You don't know match play like Tim.
See, those are your words, Doug. Can have Jackson play it again if you didn't hear it.
You don't know match play like Tim.
There's talk, if Keegan Bradley doesn't get the job done for Team USA this year at Bethpage, that they would have me captain in Ireland in 2027 at Adair Manor because of my knowledge of match play.
They shouldn't wait any longer. Make the move.
Everybody else just doesn't get it.
Where is this member guest that's taking place in April? Are you going to Florida or something?
I'm going to Nashville. I'm going down I-24.
Oh, so this is this weekend. God bless.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
And then last part of this, I'm excited about the Dotem. I'm going to be playing in it with Alan Dadeville, but can we bid on members of the dais to play in our foursome? It went really well last time that we bid on people.
Martin, I think you would really enjoy that moment in show history. I know you're on chapter 7 or season 7 of TMA.
The last night I was listening late, and some guy called in, and he was mad, and he had a weird name, and you guys made fun of him. I can't remember what year it was.
And I think it was 2021. It was our final year at KFNS. And there was an idea to try to generate revenue by having listeners bid on us. The listeners were under the impression that it was going to charity. Then, unfortunately, it was revealed that it was just going to the station.
Which is a form of charity.
and then management called in and called the listeners douchebags for not appreciating what was going on with said strategy. And I'll tell you what, that didn't play well with the listenership.
I might skip ahead to that season.
Okay.
Didn't the team that got Jackson show up and had no idea who he was or that they had him?
That's accurate. Yeah. Nor do I think any money was collected. It was just sent via.
Surprising.
Well, it was just sent via the text inbox. People were like, "I'll bid 500."
You just drop a little money off. You just put it in your Kirkwood Brew House, table 2. Just put it under a napkin. Just leave it there. I'll be there all day. Just leave a pile of cash. I'll make sure Tim plays with somebody. And if you have any complaints, call Jimmy here.
The Pope, I think that's a wonderful idea. It went so well in 2021. Maybe we'll bring it back in 2025.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, boys. Doug, you have a nice butt.
Oh, pot him down. Pot him
That's the
down.
Pope, and he's going to a member guest.
God, how good is your life? A Thursday, just shutting it down for the weekend?
And a member guest in Nashville. That's a kind of a ballsy move. It's not like you're going down to Arizona or Florida, but hey, God bless the Pope. Guys, I'm a big fan of the Pope. He's my favorite Asian listener. Any hoodles, we play mahjong in old country. Thanks, and hashtag free perk. Hope you had a wonderful Easter, Mr. Martin. Not as nice as Mr. Tim's, but nice nonetheless. That's from Brian Henshin, who covers the Colts. And boy, he's in Green Bay, I would imagine, for the draft.
No, he doesn't cover any of that.
What?
He's on the high school lacrosse beat.
I would think that he's got a...
And does a damn fine job.
I like the Mr. Martin had that just kind of that Asian flair that he was going for. I like that.
I believe I'm already taking the opening in their foursome. That's from Mr. Licks. I don't know what that means.
It means he's playing with you.
Oh, playing with me and my
Mr.
father
Licks
and son?
is saying that
I'd enjoy that pairing.
It's a done deal is what he's saying.
That'd be wonderful.
A lot of needlepoint on that foursome.
That would be needlepoint.
So you guys had, let me workshop this a little bit. So you actually on the air took bids to play? Or no?
We were instructed to.
Okay. And so
for
people
purpose of clarity.
And it was said to be charity.
I don't know if it was ever said to be, but I think there was probably an assumption in some form. That's accurate, Jackson?
Yeah, it was never,
So callers would say, hey, I'll pay.
No, not callers. This was on the text line.
So they would text in, hey, I'll pay $200 to play with Jackson.
Right.
And then they would assume, be kind of fun, meet Jackson, and then it's going to assume it goes to charity. But then they called the listeners D-bags?
Well, when I guess the answer was not made clear, a member of management called in and called the listeners douchebags
On
for asking
TMA?
questions. Yes.
It's endearing to the audience.
Right. And then when asked, will there be a prize for the team who wins, the member of management said, there'll be a little something, something.
We have a gift card. Partial gift card. Weber, Screel, and Webster.
It's no longer in business.
Nonetheless.
Never replaced it.
Wow.
Yep, so that happened. That's what the
Wow.
Pope was
Yeah, I
referencing.
really will go listen to that.
You would enjoy that.
Imagine my surprise when I approached the group that I thought paid upwards of $400 to play with me, and they looked at me like I had a second head.
Who are you?
They were
Why
like,
are you
who
playing
are
this?
you?
Yeah.
I don't even think they listened to the show. I think they just might have showed up at Gateway that day.
Bernie Federko is going to join us coming up here in a matter of moments. Game 3 tonight in, Doug, 12 and a half hours, I guess, something like that down at Enterprise Center. I think human missiles are going to be flying around the building. That's what I think. It's Bernie Federko next here on TMA, presented to you by Brown & Crouppen on 101 ESPN and the TMA STL YouTube channel. Michaels has been family and locally owned for over 30 years. That's Michaels Flooring online at igotfloored.com. Michael takes pride in helping and making sure his employees are happy and make a great living. His passion's flooring, and when you order from him, he wants you to have the best experience for the best price. That's why, again, he's making sure he gets the best carpet installers, and he's giving them $7 a square yard, which is incredible compensation in this industry. So if you are interested, go to igotfloored.com and see if you could become part of Michael's flooring team. Just come in or talk to them and you're going to see a difference. They want to make sure they suggest the best thing for you and not just pushing what corporate's telling them they have too much of. There's a reason that Michael's has continued to grow through the 31 years. Employees love working for him, and they feel like family, and he makes sure they are taken care of, and this then rubs off on the families buying the product as they know they have the best interests of the buyers. They have it all, but carpet's awesome, and it's back. They have so many varieties of all flooring and have 3 easy-to-get to locations in St. Louis. Creve Coeur, Darden Prairie, and St. Peter's. Come see why people are loving getting floored by Michael. Make sure you visit igotfloored.com. Teammate 101 ESPN, and it is our pleasure to welcome to the Callier and Thompson phone lines here on TMA and the 101 ESPN podcast, the great Hall of Famer Bernie Federko talking Blues Jets Game 3. Morning, Bernie.
Good morning, Tim. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm fired up, and I would imagine you are as well.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a fun series. In fact, playoff hockey each and every night is fun to watch, and can hardly wait for the Blues and Jets to get back at it tonight.
We were talking in the 7 o'clock hour, Bernie. Our expectation is the Blues are going to come out there and attempt to send a message from the get-go. It's in considering the health challenges that the team is facing, not to say that Winnipeg or any other team for that matter is fully healthy, but Blues might be dealing with a little bit more than other teams, that this is the way that they are going to try to get themselves back into this series. What are you expecting from the Blues tonight?
Yeah, they have to throw everything they can right off the bat. I mean, it's not saying that they didn't start well in the first two games. I mean, I thought they were the better team the first 5 or 6 minutes of both games 1 and 2. But, again, they have to start that way, and they have to continue for 60 minutes. There's no question that they have to get the crowd behind them. I mean, they've been so successful here at home. I mean, they've won the last 12 games in this building, and the crowd gets very, very excited. And I think that really, really spills onto what they're doing. And if they can get that good start and get everybody going shift after shift and keep building the momentum, I think the crowd will really, really help them out.
Bernie, when you watch Robert Thomas play, does it look like he's hurt at all, compromised, or does he look 100% to you?
I don't know. Doug, I'm listening and I'm watching and I'm hearing all kinds of different things, and I have not really seen anything. I mean, he hasn't taken control like we saw him down the stretch, but that could certainly be for the reason that he's being checked, or he's not. There's not a lot of room out there. I mean, Winnipeg does a great job taking away the center of the ice and stopping him from making plays, getting inside the line. So they do a really good job with that. But I certainly don't know by any means, and nothing's been said obviously from the Blues. And I mean, it's this time of the year where if something's happening, I mean, everybody has probably got a nick here or there. All through the playoffs, it seems that way by every player. So whether or not he's got something going on, let's hope it's minor, and hopefully he can play through it. Through it if he's got something going on.
Bernie, do you like the idea of taking him off defensively off the number one line of Connor and Scheifele, and then maybe that opens him up a little more, especially if he is nicked a little bit? Take that responsibility away. I guess you roll the dice with that, but I think Joey Vitale threw that out after game 2, that maybe that's a way to free up Thomas offensively.
Well, with the last change now, I think you can do some things. Now, whether Montgomery wants to do, what Jimmy wants to do is going to be up to, the coaching staff. But, I mean, yeah, you can mix and match the lines, but certainly, Winnipeg will have some say with it, too. I mean, it's really funny the way, you got last change, but, you can jump over the boards. I mean, things can happen so quickly and so fast with coaching changes and with line changes that it's really hard even at home to get the exact matchup that you want. But yeah, I mean, there's things that you can experiment with, and I mean, guys have played on different lines all season long, and so it's not a big deal to have to switch and change. But when you have momentum going from a line that's playing very well, you don't want to really kind of switch them at all because they know each other so well. But you got to do what you can to change things sometimes, and you got to try to win hockey games. So I think there might be experimentation if things aren't going well on the offensive, especially 5-on-5, then maybe you'll have to do some changes.
Yeah, that 5-on-5 has certainly been a highlight from the Winnipeg standpoint as to their success. And then also third period plays so far in the series. Winnipeg's success throughout the course of the season is their ability to just smother teams and choke the life out of them. That's why they were the best in the league goals against. Anything that you notice that's taken place in the third period, and feel free to get into the weeds on it, that Winnipeg has used to their advantage to keep the Blues off the board in both the first couple of games in the third period, Bernie?
Not really. I mean, it's just those style that they play. I mean, they really are. It seems like they swarm. Once you get into their defensive zone, I mean, they just swarm you. They don't allow anybody to get to the front of the net, and I think that's been really the key. I mean, the Blues only had 3 or 4 shots in game 1 in the third period, and they had 7 or whatever it is in the third period in game 2. So I mean, there's just not a lot of space out there. So I mean, when that is the case, I mean, you've got to get the puck back to the point, and you got to try to get those guys, got to try to get the shot through, and you got to go try to battle for rebounds. I mean, the defense, I mean, Stanley's big. With Pionk, Morrissey, they're not the biggest guys out there. I mean, Shed is very physical, but that's where you got to go, get to the front of the net, and that's where you got to try to make something happen. But they just play that style of hockey, and I mean, they're missing a couple of key players too, and if Velarde's, he's been skating now, whether he's going to come back. No Ehlers. That's 51 goals as well that they're missing, and certainly, I mean, you can't replace a guy like Holloway. I mean, the Blues are finding that out right now, but someone's got to try to step up, and someone's got to try to get and make that extra play by going hard to the net. I don't think you're going to be able to do anything fancy against the Jets. You're going to have to do it by winning the battles in front of the net, and I think that's probably what the conversation is going to be. They've got to create more offense by going to the front of the net and causing some disturbance, hopefully giving some rebounds.
Bernie, in your career, did you ever get hit as hard as Jordan Kyrou got hit in Game 2 on Monday night?
It probably does. I don't remember, but yeah, I mean, we learned very early in our years that if you had your head down, you're going to get hit. And I mean, now you don't see that kind of hit very, very often. You only see it when really in the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, it was a heck of a hit, and it's something that's going to happen every once in a while in your career, and especially now it doesn't happen that often, as I said. But he'll be fine. He bounced back after the hit, and you just got to go through it. But you got to know that it's playoff hockey now, and you don't have your head down. And no matter where you are, you got to be aware of your surroundings and make sure that your head's up coming through the middle.
Bernie, we've talked about how much Binnington was run into, some of it clearly by accident, but Jamie Rivers said, I do think it's on their scouting report that you can kind of rattle this guy or get him a little bit upset. We've seen that with Binnington historically. Do you think there's something to that, whether it's bumping into him here and there? Does a goalie get kind of worked up whenever there's contact?
I think all goaltenders do get a little, wrapped up with that. They get amped up if they get run into, or if they feel that someone's getting too close to their crease and this and that. But I don't think it's any different with any goaltender. I mean, Jordan Binnington has really not been rattled much by that anymore. I mean, he understands. I mean, he had the one episode this year, a couple of weeks ago there where he lost it. But other than that, they're going to play hard. I mean, I don't think they're trying to run the goaltender by any means or run Binnington. They're just going hard to the front of the net. And, I mean, I think Kellebuck's in the same position. I mean, you see it. I mean, you watch it all the playoff hockey. Anytime there's a scrum around the net, anybody comes near the net now, I mean, there's all five guys are there grabbing faces, grabbing helmets, grabbing this and that. I mean, you're going to continue to see that. But, I mean, it's just the type of playoff hockey that everybody plays right now. And I don't think Jordan is by any means getting rattled by it. But, I mean, yeah, the game plan, I mean, if I was playing against Blues, that's what I'd be doing. I'd be making sure I'd get more traffic in front of the net, because if Binnington can't see it, the chances he might not save it. And if he sees it, the chances he's always going to save it because he's such a great goaltender. And I think that's kind of the attitude that probably the Jets have, is that we better get to the front of the net and start doing some things. Otherwise, he's going to make all the saves. So I think that the Blues have to do the same thing to Hellebuck.
Bernie Federko is our guest on 101 ESPN and the TMASTL YouTube channel. Bernie, we have not talked since the series started, and now we've gotten a chance to see the Blues play and those young guys getting some experience. We saw some penalties in Game 1 with Bolduc and Neighbors. Tucker picking up one in Game 2. Two questions. Number one, the experience of playing in the Stanley Cup playoffs, you, of course, have it. What is the difference for these players going from regular season hockey to Stanley Cup playoffs as far as the game itself on the ice? And then secondarily, the discipline that a younger player, or any player for that matter, but somebody getting their first taste of it, has to exhibit in the Stanley Cup playoffs to make sure you don't have those self-inflicted wounds.
Well, you really can't explain the difference in the intensity until you've actually played in one. And it goes up. I mean, we talk about the certain games you're playing in division. The intensity is going to be a notch higher. Well, this is like 10 notches higher, because every check, every play is almost monumental. I mean, and you understand that as soon as you played in a playoff game, that it's moving faster, it's quicker. You've got to respond. In fact, you got to act before you need to react. Otherwise, you probably are going to be pulling the puck out of your own net. So I think the kids are obviously seeing that guys that have never been experienced before are now through 2 games understand what that intensity means. And yes, I mean, you're going to get an extra shot here. I mean, I think we always say the refereeing is different as well in the playoffs. I mean, I've been surprised that the refs have called as many penalties as they have, though, over the course of the first couple of games. And but you got to be disciplined. I mean, you might get a shot, you might get a cross check, you might have something, but if you react, chances are you're going to get the penalty call, and the acting guy is not going to get anything. So I think these are some little things. I mean, you talk about them all the time, and the guys that have experienced this will tell everybody that's not been through it that this is going to happen, and you can't react. But you probably the first time it happens, you don't believe it, and then when you react, you get a penalty. Then now you understand. So I think through 2 games now, everybody understands what is going on now, and I think everybody realizes that, hey, we better be the acting, not the reacting team, and I think that's what has to happen tonight as well, is that the Blues have got to make sure that they're the intimidators and not get intimidated by what the Winnipeg Jets are going to do.
Big coffee night for Bernard. They're going to be on at, about midnight or so, breaking it down. Let's go down to Strick in the locker room. And it's a late night for all involved at FanDuel Sports Network, man. You probably don't care what time. Well, actually, you probably wouldn't mind an earlier start. But I was going to say, when it's the playoffs, who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't. I just thought, with the late start, it's always hard to know, especially for the guys, is that if it goes into overtime, you never know how late a game could go. And I think that's what really, really gets hard. I mean, and it's really hard on the fans here. I mean, you go down to the building, too. The game's not going to start till 10 to 9. And that's a late night on a Thursday. If it's a Friday night or a weekend, I think it doesn't really matter. But I think it's a little different. But certainly everybody's so excited about playoff hockey. I think that losing a night's sleep or an early morning having to get up after a late night is not that bad when it's playoff hockey.
Looking forward to it tonight. Game 3, Enterprise Center, and you can catch the pregame here on 101 ESPN at 7:30. Puck drop scheduled for some time just after 8:30. Bernie Federko with us every Thursday, giving us his perspective on Blues, Jets. Game 3 tonight in St. Louis. Bernie, always enjoy the conversation and your opinions and insight. Thanks so much for the time, and enjoy the game tonight.
Thanks, fellas. Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues. Bernie Federko with us on the Callier and Thompson phone lines here on 101 ESPN and the TMA STL YouTube channel. You're welcome to give your thoughts. 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. And then you can participate in the conversation along with 262 of your friends at youtube.com/TMA STL. Watch the program and participate. Papers, you're not on the camera.
I am now.
Oh, wow.
I usually during interviews.
Oh, is that right?
I turn my mic off. Well, because I'm typing really close to where my mic is, and I'm not talking, so I think it's just better visually just have the 3 people talking. Okay. So I turn my mic off.
I like that. Okay, I follow it now.
Okay.
Michelob Ultra, sponsor of the YouTube chat. John Scores is asking, he's wondering if his Chiefs will trade up to get an offensive lineman. Doug?
I don't know. I haven't looked at that. I'm not a draftnik. I don't know what the Chiefs want.
Could get LB3.
Never heard a lot of chatter about LB3.
Disagree. I've seen it. I saw Chris Collinsworth the other day just saying how impressed he is with him. And I think it was
maybe locally it's been quiet on the LB3 front. I tried to get to him through his people, couldn't get to him.
Oh, is that right? Really?
Yeah.
He's locked in.
Locked in? I'm okay with that.
Late first round, maybe early second?
Yeah, it was late first round like all year. And now it seems like he might have dropped into the second.
Paul Baroni, Doug. Do you know Paul Baroni?
The name sounds familiar.
Okay, your friend is in the YouTube chat, which is brought to you by Michelob Ultra, and he says, my favorite memory from the Dotems not being there.
Oh.
And he said, it's the Hoosier Open.
Oh. Well, then don't go. We don't need yous. More chicken for us.
And delicious donuts.
Right.
Delicious.
And Texas Roadhouse.
And delicious Super Smokers, too, for that matter. And all the Michelob Ultra me and my 7-year-old son can enjoy.
Mm-hmm. We don't need this fella, Baroni.
And it's a 2-day event, Tim?
Yeah, 2 days.
So I could stay at one of the cabins Thursday night.
That's right.
Stay for the weekend.
We could camp out by the lake, Doug.
Ooh.
Get a sleeping bag, one. And
one? Do you have a tent? Do I even get a tent?
Pop tent.
Oh. Clip that.
Clip that off. Okay. If I'm telling you, if you get an RV sponsor, I will spend the night out there.
Roseanne.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Byerly trailer.
Yeah. I married that redhead.
We battle the winds of Kansas. I miss those commercials.
The Dotem registration tomorrow, 8 a.m. is when it opens on 101 ESPN, the golf tournament presented to you by Michelob Ultra as we partner with the St. Louis Hero Network in honor of Brian McKenna. The tournament, May 29th and May 30th at Oak Valley Golf Course and Resort. Put your foursome together, and everybody gets, of course, your greens fees. Doug's including the putting green this year, complimentary breakfast from Donut Drive, and lunch from Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. All your Michelob Ultra and the 100 West Dental closest to the pin competition. Pondoff's Anonymous podcast is sponsoring the longest drive, and an after party with food from Texas Roadhouse on Thursday and Super Smokers Barbecue on Friday. That's all included. It's $170, I believe, approximately, all in. That's after the fees. We don't want people to be surprised like when you get a ticket from one of those ticket places.
Sure.
And you go, oh, the ticket's $100, and then all of a sudden you buy it, and then it's like $140. You go, what the hell happened? Oh, fees. So I think it's $150 per person, but then with the fees, it's $170.
Okay.
So it gets all your food and beer and the whole thing. So there you go.
And you said you can use the putting greens. Are there really tournaments where they say, sure, come on out and play, but stay off the greens?
Jackson hosts tournaments at Log Cabin. Is that where you've hosted it?
And they won't let you on the greens.
Non-members.
Jackson's a member, though. So he
you
gets to
hit
work
your
on
wedge onto the green, and you can't putt it because they don't want you up
the practice green.
Jackson says it's only Scotties are only allowed.
Yeah, right.
Really?
Milled putters only.
Because someone else walking up and hitting a few putts would destroy it?
Yeah, you're going to take, I don't want to mention a brand.
It's just going to distract the old money.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem fair.
Our tournaments are always old money tournaments.
Your mini golf putter.
Yeah. There's a little something for the putting green. Maybe a pack of smokes. Small service.
They got to give you cigarettes to be able to practice putting.
I'm saying it could happen. I would never do that or call the listeners' names, but it could happen.
It's a currency in prison.
Yeah. I'll pitch a tent for you, Vaughn. That's from the TMA remote lamp in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat.
Remote lamp.
Well, I think it's from the Ballpark Village remote lamp when I went through the desk like Mankind at WrestleMania.
Oh, that's right.
And then there was a remote lamp shining on you.
Yeah, it was campfire
from
TMA.
Us, so
it's like 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, ghoulish lighting.
Hal.
Guys, I miss the Dotem days when Rockio had to read copy with a gun to his head. That's from Big Dog.
Poor Rock. Poor Rock had to read that damn copy.
We needed that ad revenue.
Well, the copy would change minute by minute. New versions of the copy would come in.
It's like the organic dossier before there was an organic dossier.
Except it was constantly changing.
They got that one sponsor. They just cancel too many gift cards.
Jeremy Rutherford coming up in the Mark Hanna.
In studio.
Oh, sweet. Nice.
Yeah.
Evergreen Wealth Strategies, 9 o'clock hour. Design, air, heating, and cooling email of the day. Jackie Papers Martin in the Stiefel dossier posing a question that I have to say, it piqued my interest. The Cardinals might have the worst pitcher in baseball in 2025 on their roster. I can't wait to hear what he's got.
That's a guy you got to use.
Well, ideally, if you can, on a road trip a couple times. We'll have that on the other side of the break. This is TMA. It's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN. Doug, how do you like this for the latest blues jam?
Well, it's not my favorite.
It's not a blues song.
Matter of opinion.
I think that the blues, I play it because I think the blues need a little more dog in them, you know? And who better than X?
Well, almost every song we've heard is better than this one.
Rough Riders Anthem? Come on, man.
Yeah.
You just got barked at.
Did.
Is that an HR violation?
It could be. I intend to file something.
It's TMA 101 ESPN. Fisher Window and Door Store, sponsor of the 8 o'clock hour here on the morning after 101 ESPN and the TMA STL YouTube channel. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne with you. Little Jackie Papers is on the ones and twos. We were joined by Bernie Federko in the previous segment. Miss anything, you'd always go back and watch it on YouTube. And that's youtube.com/TMA STL. And you can podcast. The podcast brought to you by Schaefer Door Company, coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, which is presented to you by Mark Hanna of Evergreen Wealth Strategies. We will have Jeremy Rutherford in studio taking your two-part questions. Doug, the Cardinals have the day off tomorrow before they get it going with the Brewers this week. They are now tied for last place in the National League Central as they lose yesterday to the Atlanta Braves. They are now 2-11. At Busch Stadium. Good news. The Braves are also 2-11 on the road, but neither one of them are the worst one in the National League. The Colorado Rockies expected to have a big year, too. They're 1-12.
Just numbers. The Rockies are the only team in the National League with a worse record than the Cardinals.
4-18.
There's only 4 teams in baseball lower than the Cardinals. Yeah. Orioles, Twins, White Sox, Rockies. Orioles, Twins, White Sox, Rockies.
I am very concerned about my White Sox over 53.5 wins play.
You need them to get to 54.
I need them to get to 54. And Martin, we are on a red alert situation at the Tam Avenue Capital Partners.
5-19.
Red alert. The Justin Thomas winnings from last week may be lit on fire on the south side of Chicago.
I would suspect there are some AAA teams that could almost go 4-18 or 5-19 in the major leagues, or come close to it. But the thing that bugs me with the Cardinals, they lost 6 out of 7 on the road trip. In 5 of those losses, 5 of the 6, the opponent scored the winning runs in their last at bat. And in none of those games did Ryan Helsley, the Cardinals' best reliever, get on the field.
This has really become your passion project.
It is. It's just absurd. You've got the best player, the only all-star they had last year, one of the best relievers in baseball, does not get on the field with the game on the line. They just lost 5 of those with him sitting in the bullpen.
So you could make the argument in a game that's tied with the state of your bullpen, if you don't use them in that tie game, let's use that example, that Friday game against the Mets, when Lindor walked it off, that was Fernandez, that if you don't use him, you're not getting to extra innings anyway, right? Because the argument is you save him for the save situation. But if you could realistically say, I don't think we're getting to extra innings with the state of my bullpen, then you would use him, right?
Well, and you also have to look at who's coming up on the other side. The Mets had the top of the order coming up with Lindor, Soto, and Alonso. Maybe the top 3 hitters.
So maybe the biggest
in the
inning
league.
Left.
And you needed to get through that to have another chance to win. And you didn't give yourself the best chance to win the game.
Now, you're saying, by saying that Ryan Fernandez is not your best chance to win the game.
He is not.
Jackson
he didn't get through the first hitter.
Jackson actually has some information here that he may be the worst pitcher in Major League Baseball in 2025. What do we have?
I can't say that Ryan Fernandez is the worst pitcher in all of baseball, but his slider might have a case for being the worst pitch in Major League Baseball.
Take a listen to the data here, Doug.
In 2025, and StatCast just updated from yesterday, so this is good. So he throws that slider 44, almost 45% of the time, which is tied with his fastball for his most common pitch. Teams are hitting 500 against his slider.
Keep throwing it.
Nice. They're missing 50% of the time, though.
They're slugging it 950. Slugging 950.
Okay.
10 hits on his slider. 2 of those are triples. And if you want to take a wild guess what pitch he threw to Eli White for the 3-run homer yesterday, slider right down the middle.
Sweeper?
His slider is dreadful. And he has been dreadful over the past week, 2 weeks, maybe all season. But that slider especially, which, again, he throws as much as his fastball, is getting shelled.
Katie Wu writing on The Athletic, you didn't need to see the trajectory of the ball off Eli White's bat to know the result. The sound alone suffice. The Cardinals had again found themselves locked in a tight ball game, clinging to a 1-1 tie with the Braves late in the series finale Wednesday. And the Cardinals again found themselves turning to a bullpen that has been shaky all season, Doug, and that's where it got away from him yet again. Ali Marmol went to Ryan Fernandez. Mayton was not available. He, of course, served off the walk-off homer against the Mets earlier in the road trip and then did the exact same thing. His ERA is 11.42 now on the season.
8 2/3 innings. He's given up 15 hits, 5 walks, 20 base runners in 8 2/3. The problem I have, and I've said this before, as smart as these guys are, as hard as they work, as much information as there is, why is it the average fan will say, oh, no, not this guy. No, can't use him again. He's not right. And in his defense, he's not putting himself in the game. And the other thing I would argue in Ollie's defense, which will light up the text line, he's not making out the roster. Fernandez shouldn't be here. And I did get somebody tweeting back, well, who are you going to – you can't say nobody. Riley O'Brien, they loved him last spring. He got injured in that first game in L.A. He's down in Memphis. Even the kid from WashU. Why not? At this point, you would roll the dice with somebody other than Fernandez who has proven that he's just not the same guy as last year. Why is he still – and you watch, between now and Friday, Doug, I'll bet you anything, they'll send him down. But what are we waiting for? What more did you need to see? He was bad Friday, serves up the walk-off. Really bad on Sunday. Everyone sort of saw this coming, and you can't just keep throwing him out there expecting a different result. They did this with Alex Reyes when he lost it in 2021. Everyone knew he lost it. And they had a walk-off loss in Pittsburgh, and they said, that's it, he's not the closer anymore. And everyone screamed, thank God. You find that it was unfair to the kid. A week later in Milwaukee, they put him out there to close a game out, serves up the walk. I'm like, what are we doing here? And then, of course, in L.A., season's on the line. Well, let's bring in Alex Reyes. And people, well, who you want him to? Anybody. Stubby Clapp, Matt Carpenter, anybody but Reyes. And yesterday when Fernandez is out there, your confidence couldn't be any lower.
Yeah, Derek Gould had a really good stat in his story today. Jojo Romero pitched in 4 games on the road trip, and each time the score was tied when he entered, the Cardinals lost all 4 of those games.
Yeah, and he's been
it's
bad.
One thing to pitch these guys. It's another to put them in with the game on the line.
And you got this guy, and I don't know anything about Matt Swanson. He's just sitting around in the bullpen. Apparently, and I'm not saying he's the answer. I'm not stupid enough to say, well, you should be. Why is he here? He pitched Thursday in New York. That's a week ago.
Martin, they're not happy with you. My God, Martin, get Ollie's jack out of your mouth. That's from Uncle Rich's nap chair?
No, I am among those criticizing Ollie for stubbornly going to Fernandez, but I wonder if it's a little of that Esteban Yan Pedro Borbon thing.
Trying to send a message?
Yeah, and saying, well,
this is the guy.
Like, what do you want me to do? Telling the front office. And it is interesting, Fernandez is a Chaim Bloom guy, one of his Boston guys that he liked and suggested they bring in last year. But I don't think Chaim is making roster decisions right now. My point is, the bullpen's bad. Make a move. And that's on the front office to not be asleep at the wheel and say, we got to get Fernandez out of here. Even if Riley O'Brien pitches and gets lit up in Atlanta, you'd say, well, it's better than seeing Fernandez do the same thing. If this Ryan Lotus comes back up and he's bad, at least you'd say, well, they tried something different. And why is Swanson, why is he here? He hadn't pitched in a week.
Yeah,
that's the stuff I don't understand.
No, I don't understand why you don't use the best reliever you've got. All these games you're blowing in late innings, and your best guy never gets in. I mean, that's ludicrous, isn't it?
And Mayton had been really good.
Yeah.
And he's unavailable, apparently. He pitched Monday. He couldn't pitch on Wednesday.
And the starting pitchers have been good. I mean, Michaelis was terrific yesterday.
Well, that's the other part of the equation. Yeah. Do you now say to your starters, is there any way they can push it beyond 6 innings? Because you don't have a bullpen that's any good right now, and your starters have been pretty good. Can you push it? I mean, Michaelis is not a hard-throwing guy. Can he go over 90 pitches? Maybe. I think you have to consider that. And I'm sure there's some metrics that say, no, he's going to give up runs in that 7th inning.
Yeah, the same metrics that told him to bring in Fernandez.
Yeah, but I'd say at this point, Michael is pitching into the 90 pitch range is probably a better bet than eventually having to go to Fernandez.
Especially on a day where he's really throwing well. I guess it's possible that they're saving Helsley for a trade, that they don't want to risk it. I guess that's possible. At least I can understand that. I don't understand not using him just because he can't get a save when he comes in. That's ridiculous. But they're going to have to do something.
But you watch now. They'll make. I guarantee between now and tomorrow, Fernandez will get sent down. They'll call up Riley O'Brien. But you could have done that 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to win games, even McGreevy in the bullpen. Well, he's a starter. Okay. Are you trying to win big league games? Is McGreevy a better option in that 8th inning yesterday than Ryan Fernandez? Even though he's not a reliever, I'd say, yeah, probably. Mm-hmm. Well, then get the best guy here.
The Maton move was kind of like, oh, yeah, we're going to do this right here at the end of spring training. We didn't think much of it, and he's been one of the best guys they have.
Yeah, and then he wasn't available, which I didn't know that till after the game yesterday, but I'm like, where's Maton? Okay, he's unavailable, which does limit your options. I think you have to look to extend your starters if you can because your bullpen isn't very good.
Bryce Elder had been on his way to the minor leagues, but he was able to hold the Cardinals to 1 run over the course of his 6 innings pitched. He was able to throw 99 pitches. Michaelis pulled at 89 pitches, Martin, as the Cardinals and Braves combined for 5 runs. Of the 5-day starts yesterday, the under went 4-0 and 1. The one tie was when one of the games had a late rally to push the number. But otherwise, those games went quickly.
Is that baseball's unwritten rule? It's a day game, a getaway game.
Swing at anything.
We'll keep it moving. Yep, you keep it. When they bring out the lineup cards, keep it moving. Keep it moving. You good? What time's your flight? Yep. What time's your flight? Got it.
So there are a couple of those today, including a big showdown between the Twins and White Sox in cold conditions in Minnesota. So
huge turnout for that one.
Keep an eye on that one. Jeremy Rutherford is going to join us coming up on the program. That's at about 9:30. He will be in studio. Looking forward to talking it over with JR. This program is called TMA, and it's presented to you by Brown & Crouppen on 101 ESPN. Hey, St. Louis, Tim McKernan here with you to talk about aesthetic design and build. We are enjoying some beautiful weather in the area right now, and this is a reminder that you're going to be spending a lot of time outdoors over the next 5-6 months. Well, capitalize on it with an outdoor living space customized by Aesthetic Design and Build. They specialize in high-quality custom decks and outdoor living spaces. They've been doing it for over 3 decades. Dan and his team have a showroom in Chesterfield Valley, and they can walk you through all the different types of custom work they're capable of doing, from a full-on custom deck to adding on a pergola, and get customized work to improve the caliber of your outdoor living space. Go online at aestheticdesignandbuild.com or give them a call. It's 636-532-5008. Let them know I sent you their way.
This is Action Jackson with a Sports Center update, and that is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals lose yesterday, final score of 4-1 at the hands of the Atlanta Braves. Off today for the Cardinals, back in action tomorrow night in St. Louis as they take on the Brewers, 7:15 first pitch. That was another Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
WNBA Finals replay. Those ladies are ballin', Washington Mystics all the way. Bartender laughed, you're one of a kind. Then flipped him the bird, didn't pay him no mind. Ooh, yeah. Blues gonna get that cup again, baby, it's true. Singing Gloria down Market Avenue. Raise your glass, do a little twist. 2025's a championship kiss. Shooby-dooby, cup in the loo. Oh, yeah, we do.
What's it going to be like during the second intermission when this is playing tonight at the Enterprise Center, Doug?
Well, this song's got a lot of zip to it, so I'm sure people would love to hear this.
9 o'clock hour here on TMA, brought to you by Mark Hanna, Evergreen Wealth Strategies. He's online at evergreenstl.com, and you can call him right now for that matter, 314-889-0503. Doug, you describe him as the great communicator.
No, that was Ronald Reagan. He is a good communicator, but to call him the great communicator, that's Reagan. Yeah, sorry to rain on a sponsor's parade there. He's a wonderful life Sherpa.
What's different about Mark Hanna and Evergreen Wealth Strategies? He's not giving you a cookie-cutter corporate dossier-style portfolio. See how that word is entering the mainstream lexicon?
It really is. I'm not sure about it.
He can help each client with a customized plan for their situation. He gets to know clients personally, so he and his team can work with them for decades to come. Call Mark Hanna and his team at Evergreen Wealth Strategies, 314-889-0503, or go online at evergreenstl.com. That's Mark Hanna, sponsor of the 9 o'clock hour. Doug, we read that pressure power ranking from, is it Sean McEnhoe at The Athletic? Sean McEnhoe?
Sounds familiar.
Well, yesterday he was on the Puck Soup podcast. Have you listened to Puck Soup yet?
No, not lately. I haven't.
These boys just don't think the Blues have the personnel to hang with the Jets. Take a listen.
You know, look, I think the Blues, I don't know, like they just, I think they have the personnel to be like an 8 seed this year. You know what I mean? Now they have the coach. Now they have a bunch of guys that they can believe in, including Holloway, obviously, like up front. Mm-hmm. I just, from what I'm seeing, it's the Blues defense, which was always their Achilles heel, is getting eaten alive by the Jets' best forwards, and they don't have, like you said, they don't have the firepower to do the same thing on the Jets' blue line, which I don't think the Jets' blue line is unbelievable or anything like that, but they can handle what the Blues are throwing at them.
Not over, but hey, let's flip it around. If I'm a Winnipeg fan, I'm feeling pretty good.
Well, whatever, Puck Soup.
Stop selling us short.
Don't care. Don't care, Puck Soup.
And that's easy to say when a team wins the first 2 games. You say, oh, the other team, they just don't have it. We saw this coming. You never know. We can turn this thing around.
And win a baby?
If we can just get hot, we could win this baby.
Is it too late for a baby with that start?
No, it isn't too late.
Youngest kid in the building tonight will be probably a player's kid, do you think?
Could be. I mean, you wouldn't bring anyone who's under, like, 2.
But even if your kid's 6 or 7 going to school, like, go a little late
you bring him.
Yeah, okay, all right. You think there'll be babies there, Tim? Actual babies, probably.
What constitutes a baby? 2 or under? Is that baby? 1 or under?
1.5, maybe 18 months and under. Feels like a baby to me.
Yeah.
What's up, baby?
How about that?
With almost 20,000 people there, one of them will be a baby.
PTSD.
You wouldn't bring your baby there, would you?
I don't have a baby, but I wouldn't know. God, I don't think we even took. I think Carson's first baseball game, he was 5. And people for years are, when are you going to take him to a game? I said, well, he's 2, he's 3. He's not. Why don't you get him down to a game? Well, he's 4. It's fine. First game
baby powder in between the ham hock.
Tommy Pham had 2 home runs. Carson's first game.
Oh, did he really?
That was all right.
Yeah, number 28.
Tommy Pham, a friend of who are they playing? Who are the Pirates? I'm crowdsourcing. I always saw the clip. Tommy Pham.
He's on the Pirates now.
I know he's on
been
the Pirates.
Stabbed twice. I believe both times.
They played last night against the Angels, and he went to go get a ball, and a fan kind of touched him with his glove. And before he threw it back to the relay man, he looked at the fan dead in the eyes and then threw it. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
A little stare down?
A little stare down, then maybe a gesture after. I didn't see.
Okay. He could be intimidating.
People could look it up. It's funny.
You really have to be pretty clueless as a fan to touch one of the players during the game.
Yeah, it looked kind of, it didn't look like it looked like the fan with his glove was touching him.
Oh.
Because the ball was rolling towards the foul line.
Okay.
Doug Caller Adam wants to give his thoughts on tonight's
no.
Be a good hockey breakdown.
Blues-Jets game. He wasn't on the dossier, but might have an incredible breakdown here. He's on the Callier and Thompson phone lines. Morning, Caller Adam.
I've been calling in for 10 years now, and never in my 10 years has someone picked up a phone call in a sexy whisper the way Chairman Kurt's got to pick up the calls. Why? I thought you guys had like a good operation. Is he not in a different room? Is he just there and he has to whisper?
He's in the same room now. He's about 8-10 feet away from us.
I just heard him say to somebody right now.
I don't understand what kind of setup that is, where if he's picking up phone calls, he's got to say, hello, at 101 ESPN. It doesn't make any sense to me why you guys would set that up that way.
Well, don't call in again. We're going to have to deal with this.
Call a different show if you don't like it.
Oh, wow.
It was more egregious because we were playing an audio clip. Therefore, none of us are talking, but all of our mics are open. Therefore, if he's talking to you in a normal voice, it would come through. Whereas if we're talking, he can speak in a normal voice.
I don't need all the logistics. I don't want that.
I like
But
the
anyway, the point I'm calling about is I'm going to be in section 121 tonight. I know a lot of the listeners are going to be in the lower bowl, too. I'll be there with my half-brother, so legally I can't kiss him at all.
Oh.
But if anybody wants to come kiss me and then kiss my brother, and then we could all kiss each other, and I think it'd be a good, positive motivation because I don't think the Blues are going to win tonight, but I think it's going to be a lot of good, positive kissing and energy in that lower bowl.
Okay.
Doug, are you going to go kiss Adam? That'll be good for the team. Okay.
No, I'm not that much interested in even going to the game.
When is it okay to kiss a guy? What section are you going to be in?
What's that?
What section are you going to be in the lower bowl? What section are you going to be in?
I'll be in section family room, lower bowl of my house.
That wasn't a good joke.
Well, it wasn't a joke. You asked me where I was going to be, and that's where I'm going to be.
That's not in the section I'm talking about. What I'm saying is if you're in the lower bowl, and you should call in right now, say what section. I'm going to be in section 121, row EE. Come give me a kiss. Come give my half-brother Eric a kiss. He does CrossFit. He's very fit. I'm not. But we can all kiss and give positive energy to the Blues. Section 121. Text me your pictures of where text me pictures of your tickets to 636-248-4227. Text me pictures of your tickets and a picture of your lips. And then I'll know who it is when they come up. But a lot of people are going to the game lower bowl. Jackie, are you going to be in the lower bowl tonight?
No.
What about the new guy that's on the show? What's his name?
Milton.
Is he going to be on the lower bowl tonight? Anybody on the dais going to be in lower bowl tonight?
Well, I think at this point I'd avoid the lower bowl at all costs.
Yeah.
No offense.
I'd make out with Adam.
Okay.
I think both of my brothers are hot.
Oh, gosh.
Marlo, Martin.
It's as if he's here. Adam, are you trying to get on the Kiss Cam? Is that what this is about?
I've never been on the Kiss Cam before. I'd love to get on the Kiss Cam with my half-brother, Eric.
No.
You can't legally kiss him, Tim. Otherwise, it's fine, but you can't legally.
Are you done?
So I'll see you guys in section 121, row EE.
Okay, you're done now, right?
Like that's where it's all going to go down tonight.
Oh.
Caller Adam has invited the listeners to come and kiss him and or his half-brother Eric, and that will create a positive atmosphere in the building tonight, and some of the Blues will see it and be inspired.
We have some of the worst calls in the history of sports talk radio. Some of the absolute worst. And that was right up there with him.
My favorite part is he was talking, Kurt was taking another call, and I may have tuned out for a second on Adam, and I heard KG say, okay, did you want to use your real name?
So we have to have another call now?
Well, I don't know.
No, they dropped, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
I think Adam scared him away.
May have spooked.
Yeah.
Sharon in Clayton says, I'm in the lower bowl. I'd kiss Towelman or Louie before I'd kiss you. Let's go Blues. That's Sharon in Clayton, Sanibel, Maui, and Michigan.
Okay.
I've never been happier to have seats in the 300s. That's from the 618.
Yeah.
Get this wacko off the phone lines. That's from Staley's garage door.
Yeah.
Seemed like he was trying to fire up the
Staley?
troops.
Dawn Staley, head coach of the South Carolina Gamecocks, Doug.
Yeah. She's going to be there?
I don't know.
She won't be there.
If she would, she'd probably be in the lower bowl.
I would imagine, yeah. We're in a suite.
Good evening. Thanks, Van. I'm television's own Doug Chandler Hill, and I'm here live at the St. Charles Family Arena with our top story.
What was the top story at the Family Arena, Doug?
It was AI. It was not me.
No, you were at the Family Arena. You were out in the parking lot? Covering maybe the Swarm, their championship, but you couldn't go live inside because it was televised on MySpace.
Could have
you
been
had to be outside.
The River Otters.
Oh, yeah, River Otters. Sure, why not?
Jax played for the River Otters.
Jeremy Rutherford's going to join us. He's going to be in studio. We'll find out where he's going to sit tonight. Maybe he's in the lower bowl. That's coming up at 9:30. You are listening to TMA. It's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN and the TMA SEL YouTube channel.
Hey, St. Louis, I'm here to talk to you about Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. They're going to be out at the Dodom serving out lunch. It's going to be awesome. We're really looking forward to the Dodom and hanging out and having some Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Now, the Battlehawks play on Saturday. They're taking on the Michigan Panthers. Maybe you want to go to the game. Well, maybe you're hungry, too. Well, I got an answer to both those. You can kill two birds with one stone, and that bird is chicken, because Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken has their Battlehawks box for just $8.99. What does that get you, you might ask? 4 of Lee's famous hand-bread chicken strips, an order of potato wedges, and 2 dipping sauces. That's right, I said potato wedges, not weak little thin fries. I'm talking about potato wedges. That's some real potato right there, brother. And then you get a code valid for up to 30% off Battlehawks tickets, which means tickets start at just $14. So boom, you got dinner and you got tickets for Saturday. So get game day ready with the Battlehawks box for just $8.99 at any of the 15 St. Louis area Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken locations. And remember that CAW is the law.
Jackson, many of the regular texters have been very critical of your AI songs, or you're now pivoting off blues songs because of the hatred you're receiving in the Air Comfort Service text inbox.
No, I just don't want that. Like, I think a little distance between each one makes every single one more special. Not to mention, if you take a look around, if you're watching it on YouTube, you'll see that all four of us are dressed in black.
Oh, that's right.
We could be, theoretically, the Men in Black.
You and Martin are wearing the same thing, like a team uniform.
That's the Alliance is Strong, and this is a wonderful TMA STL shop hoodie. Nice light, perfect for this kind of weather.
I was going to say the material works for me. It's not heavy.
I'm wearing that same logo with the TMA hat. You can get this stuff at tmastlshop.com. Working on that with that starter packs on some new stuff, St. Louis starter packs, which I still think is Jackson's Instagram account.
Wish.
tmastlshop.com is where you can get these goods. Coming up at 9:30, Jeremy Rutherford is going to be in studio with us. He will take your two-part questions as we are 12 hours away from Game 3 of the Blues and Jets. I happened to stumble into this last night, and I was wondering, I don't even know why. Oh, I know why. Because I was watching the great Steve Harvey's Family Feud.
You were?
I was.
Holy crap.
Here's the background, Martin. I went out, had a wonderful experience on the golf course, played with a couple of CVC cadets. So, obviously...
Let me guess, they were the caddy.
It's like you're doing the text inbox before the text inbox can do the text inbox. And your compadre and mine, Matt Poling of the Doggies. And was sitting there, and I had some libations following the round. It was a beautiful evening. Conversation and libations following around a golf, Doug. Is there anything better outside of an orgy?
Oh, gosh. I've not experienced an orgy, so I can't be sure, Tim.
Okay.
Yet.
Thank you, Martin. So then what you do after that is you come home and you watch Family Feud, and Steve Harvey's Family Feud. And I think he's the best host in the history of the program, even better than the very aggressive Richard Dawson. Now, with that all said, following that program was a very special television event. Does anybody in this studio, or even anybody in the text line, or anybody in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat know what that was?
Blossom.
Mayim Bialik.
What channel were you watching?
Steve Harvey's Family Feud locally airs on ABC, KDNL 30, and that's with Joby Smith. Martin?
He's still there?
Joby Smith did Slate New Sports there for a little while. Rick Powers. Darren Horton, who might still be in L.A.
Yeah, did ABC used to do Wife Swap? Remember that show, Wife Swap?
No, we did that at a TMA Live.
Yeah.
So this speaks to the way things have changed so much that I just happened to stumble into it. I mean, relatively speaking, I want to emphasize, relatively speaking, if this was even a decade ago, certainly 20 years ago, it would have been a big thing. But last night, the Roseanne Bar Show, which became Roseanne, which then became the Connors, after 37 years, it was the series finale.
Gee, I didn't realize.
That's what I'm saying.
Roseanne's been on this whole time?
Well, I mean, it went away for a while.
Got it.
Then she went away permanently.
Got it.
But she gave her blessing to continue on with the show. They changed the name to the Connors because she didn't want to see 300 people who work on the show all lose their jobs. And so John Goodman, Afton Cougar, 72 years old now, Doug.
Is he really?
You may know him from Argo. You may know him from Wildcats with Nipsey Russell.
No, he's been in a million things.
They signed off last night. And again, the only reason I knew about it was because I happened to be watching the great Steve Harvey's Family Feud. And I was like, is anybody even aware of this? So now
that it was still in production.
That it was still, not only that I knew that it was still on, but I didn't know that this was like the series finale. And so when I'm scrolling through what is a source for oftentimes links on this program, it is on the front page of the New York Post. And the way the program ended, and I don't think I'm spoiling anything here, was they broke the fourth wall. And John Goodman looked at the camera and said goodnight and then walked off. It wasn't like a Bob Newhart thing where he woke up and it was all a dream or going to black like Tony Soprano. But what stands out to me is here is a show that kind of crosses over multiple generations of television, going back to, if you're going back 37 years, it actually goes back to the 1980s. And even though it had the run that it had, and obviously it was gone for a while and then returned, but it was a signature show in the sense that it kind of highlighted the working class as opposed to glamorizing, fantasy land for families, that it went out with a fizzle in the sense that the show was number one in the country, and it goes out, and because people watch television the way they watch it, it was, I think, completely unknown by a large portion of people who, I'm sure at some point, watched the show because the show was hugely successful.
I think there are some shows on ABC that kind of go under the radar in St. Louis because they don't have news. You don't get, at least that's what it used to be. You're not really used to watching that station. So there was a lot of shows on ABC that I never really saw. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but...
So you think the fact that the ABC affiliate in St. Louis doesn't have local news, that people don't watch ABC in St. Louis
probably
as much?
as much.
I think there's a little bit to that.
I think that's probably accurate.
It's just not top of mind. In most cities, the ABC station is a prominent TV station.
Right.
Well-known TV station. Here in St. Louis, since it flipped from Channel 2
doesn't
to
really
Channel
have an
30.
identity here.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's also big on the state of network TV. Like if you're watching an NFL game and they do a promo for some procedural cop show that's coming up after the game, like, are you ever like, I think I'm going to tune in, Like, it's just like not to like watch a 30-minute show with commercials and all that. It just doesn't seem like what people do anymore.
And a lot of what's on network TV are game shows.
Yeah. I mean,
reality shows and game shows.
What was on Fox or on 2 after the Super Bowl was Rob Lowe show.
Floor, the ceiling,
and it was
the
like
wall.
the lowest rated
It hit
show.
the floor.
Yeah.
It was
yeah, it was like the
debacle.
lowest rated show after a Super Bowl. Like ever.
Really?
Yeah.
It was a game show that just tanked?
Yeah. Yeah. It was. Yeah. Rob Lowe's. You're right. The floor.
It's kind of a trivia show. It was hard to understand who was playing who and what it meant, and the trivia was interesting, but the whole setup of the game was kind of awkward.
Rob Lowe's on. If you walk the hallways at the 2 Fox, there's all these posters for Fox network shows, and Rob Lowe's in like 3 of them. Really? There's one of those 911 shows he's on, the game show, and there's something else. Thank you for supporting the 2 Fox, Doug.
I'm 38 and don't even watch and don't think I've watched any cable or network TV shows in 10 years. Unless it's sports, it's only streaming. That's from The Hunchback of Von Castle, which is my overarching point, is that here is a show that it's one of the only shows that as far as a sitcom in particular, that spans going back to the days when some people only would have locally anyway, 2, 4, 5, 11, and 30, and ends in 2025, and it goes out, damn near completely under the radar. Now, again, it's front page of the New York Post, and certainly the show, number one, went away, thought that it ended, came back in a reboot. Roseanne Barr then leaves the show or is forced off the show, and then it ends, a 37-year show, and there isn't any attention on it. And why is that? Because of what the Hunchback of Von Castle just said, especially for people, and I don't know what the kind of cutoff it is. I don't know when I'm watching live television if it's not sports.
Right. Oh, yeah.
You know
Almost
what I mean?
never. Unless it's like a major event is going on,
But
like
I'm still stuck by the fact that you were watching Family Feud.
Oh, I love that Steve Harvey's Family Feud.
Yeah,
give me fast money. Give me fast money.
You like the quiz and the board, and you like to guess out loud.
Yeah, it's
show me groceries.
Yeah. Like last night, Martin, because you can. I don't know. Maybe a handful of like Burroughs guys can play Jeopardy, but I don't know anybody can do it. But Steve Harvey asked the question last night in Fast Money: name a color in a bowl of Fruit Loops, and it's just like,
oh, that is high quality stuff there.
And I'm like, well, I'm going to stick around for the final episode of the Connors after my mind's been tingled like this.
How many libations did one have to sort of take in Family Feud and think of it as high level?
Enjoyed it. You ever have that ranch water?
Oh, yeah, it's good stuff.
God bless.
Yeah, that's tasty.
Yeah,
Refreshing.
had that and then sat there and had a king of beers.
It's a good 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
A little bullpen start.
Yeah.
I like that.
Bullpen start.
Yeah. And I usually don't imbibe when I'm playing, but we weren't really gambling. I mean, I guess we were, but it wasn't like really gambling.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yes.
On a day like
beautiful
yesterday.
day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna enjoy some libations.
It feels good.
And I'm like, I actually played better while imbibing, so I might have to
Yeah, take the edge off.
I might have to take this into consideration as we enter member guest season. And Doug, I am member guest for hire this summer.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah, I think I'm only in one. So, yeah, I need to book. Last year I had 3 and 4 weekends, and God, that was a turn on for my wife. What an
bet she loved it.
aphrodisiac.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry, we'll watch Family Feud when I get back.
When you can
It'll
leave
be
the
fine.
house.
I'll be intoxicated and watch Family Feud. You take care of the 7-year-old and 3-year-old. Oh, and the series finale, The Connors, is on, and you weren't born when it started. It's going to be hot tonight here.
Yeah, they love that when you leave for 6 or 7 hours and leave them with young children.
And then
They'd
tune into
love
Family
that.
Feud, and then The Connors.
Yeah, the only way that they know you're home is when Steve Harvey fills the house with his wonderful dulcet tones.
Jeremy Rutherford's joining us next year on the program. It's TMA 101 ESPN.
Let's go Blues.
Oh,
go
Doug, you wanted it. You got it.
I like this one.
For that cup, I'd sell my soul. Nothing better than playoff time. In the NHL, you got to be primed. Come on, boys. Keep your head on a swivel. Heading for the top, not the middle. People might think I'm crazy, but if we just get hot, we can win this baby. We can win this baby.
Doug, is that a muted trumpet or a yakety sax?
Sound like a muted trumpet.
It's TMA 101 ESPN, Marquand Evergreen Wealth Strategies at 9 o'clock hour, and it is our pleasure to welcome to the studios, ladies and gentlemen, presented by Pure Performance, it's Jeremy Rutherford.
Were they playing that during warm-ups the other night?
They should.
I think if you play that in the building tonight, the place will be up for snatch grabs. JR, you're taking two-part questions, too.
Yeah, I will be later.
314-399-9646. What do you think we're going to see tonight? I think we're going to see human missiles flying into jets.
Yeah, I've been listening to I'm getting ready for this.
Yeah,
I'm going to get to my seat early because you told me it's going to be like that tonight. I'll tell you one thing, and it pays to listen to the show before you come in. You know, I do listen a lot and listen in this morning. I know one thing. I will not be going near the lower bowl.
You do not want to go to section 122, row E.
I'm not going there. I'm going to stay on every bowl except for the lower bowl.
Doug, you are going to go.
He even gave us his phone number in case you'd like to call him.
Did he? Yeah, I don't need it. Yeah, I don't need
Text a picture of your lips to him so he can recognize you. Yeah, it's nice to have when the listeners invite each other to make out during the program. JR, how do you feel about the festivities tonight? You talked to the boys. You know that this is, it's 2-0, but it's still do or die land.
It is do or die land. I think that, as we know, they've played pretty well in big chunks of those first two games, and they've come out on the other end. And I wrote a story again today. Obviously, 5-on-5 is going to be a big issue for the Blues in this series with the way that top line's playing, and they're going to have to bring it together. I know you talked to Bernie about the matchups, and perhaps we'll see the Braden Shen line or maybe the WTF coined by the Martin Kilcoyne.
That's right, Martin. You got that thing early on in the season.
That was the first couple of games out west.
Yeah.
Kraken.
And I think, were you there, Joe? They asked Raddick about it, right? Wasn't he the one who endorsed it, I think?
I think so, yeah. And I think they were excited about it. So you should get some royalties for that. But they could put that line as well on that Jets top line. So we'll see. But, yeah. 5-on-5 tonight. And then, Tim, I think the big thing is the physicality. It's got to be used for a purpose, right? You can't just go out, get amped up because of the crowd and go out hitting. Because I did come up with a stat. I threw it in my story today. The Blues top line, Thomas, Snuggerud, Buchnevich, in that last game, they were hit 4 or 5 times. You throw in the second line, 9 hits. They were on the receiving end of 9 hits. You look at the Jets top line, those top 3 guys hit once in this series. So you can talk about all the Blues physicality and their hits, but they're not on the guys who are doing the damage.
I'm obligated to ask the question, what's going on there?
Yeah, well, I think a couple things. When you have the Thomas line up against them,
that's not who's going to be doing it.
Those types of guys aren't the guys doing the hitting, but the defensemen could be doing the hitting. But the bottom line is if they're not getting the body played, then obviously they're able to do the damage they've done.
You think sometimes players are a little reluctant to take a big hit on one of the star players for fear that they're going to get a penalty?
I think you got to be careful, right, when we've seen some of the penalties that we have, but it's something when you see that there's 53 hits in a game and some of these guys aren't getting touched. And I realize, it's kind of like the old Brett Hull. He would just kind of disappear and find the soft spot on the ice. That's what Kyle Connor, I feel like, is doing. Like, everybody looks at the screen. How do you get that wide open for another game winner? But that's just the kind of way it is with those star players.
What do you think in talking to, whether it be guys on the team or coaches, you can get a sense for where guys are mentally. So, for example, I've actually fired a bullet on it now that I'm getting plus 125. I think Colorado Avalanche are going to win that series against the Stars. I feel very confident about it. Maybe I'll be wrong. I would bet some of the Colorado Avalanche probably feel pretty positive about it, even though they're down 2-1. Probably confused as it being down 2-1, considering the way that series has been played so far. You have a sense of where you are. Now, weird spot in some series where teams are getting blown off the ice like the Oilers, I realized they came back and made that thing tight late in Game 1, but last night blown off the ice. That's a different situation than what's going on in this series here locally. At the same time, in the third period, they've been dominated. So when you talk to the guys, when you talk to the coaches, what do you sense they are thinking as to where this series is outside of the obvious? We're down 2-0, we got to win.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Tim, because the teams that you mentioned that are getting blown off the ice, they're probably given more credit around the league by the people watching to potentially win those series than the Blues. You know, I heard puck soup or whatever
Puck
you
soup,
guys.
Doug.
Puck. I know Doug's a big puck soup listener.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
But you look at what's being said about this Blues series, and I understand where they're coming from, but everybody says this is what you expected, right? With the Winnipeg Jets going up 2-0. Well, if you're watching the games, pay attention to the games. They've been, of course, a lot closer than that. But I want to give the Jets a lot of credit for the plays that they're making to win these games, that one extra play like Jim Montgomery keeps saying, but also the Blues are not making plays that they did for the past couple months of the season and putting the Jets in the position to finish those games. So, I mean, you look at, Robert Thomas, who obviously is banged up, and, Colton Parayko behind the net, they don't kill that play, and it's in the back of the net. So the way I see it and the vibe of the team is they still feel like they're very much in this series. And, in some years, you could kind of say, okay, guys, we get it. You got to be positive. But how can you say that to this group when we, including myself, I was just telling Doug 2 months ago, I was telling him not a chance this team makes the playoffs. When we were counting them out 2 months ago, how do you count them out 2-0 in this series? You can't.
Do you think the 11-7, where they're going with 7 defensemen, is in part because they have so many older defensemen? Is that part of the equation?
I think a combination of this. I think that they wanted to get Tyler Tucker into the series. It's physical. They need him. They weren't playing Matthew Joseph in chunks of the third period. And also Colton Parayko is he 100%? I don't think he is. Played 19 minutes because they brought the 7 defensemen in. So will they go back to that tonight? Jim Montgomery touched on it yesterday. I don't think they will. We'll find out, in a couple hours. But I think that they're going to get Texier into the series. He's on that third line yesterday in practice, and they feel like he could help the offense.
I feel like there's a feeling around the league that the Blues are a young team, and they should just be happy they're in the playoffs. But they're really not that young in a lot of key spots, especially on defense. Falk's 33, Fowler's 33, Leddy's 34, Suter's 40. It's not like these are all a bunch of rookies that have overachieved and just happy to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's a mixture. You got the vets, the 5 holdovers from the Stanley Cup, and those guys still want to win right now, right? And then the guys like Falk who weren't here for the Cup, but older guys, Fowler. But I think you're right, Doug. I think that's how a lot of people are looking at it. But I think big picture, what they're really saying is that it's a bright future. You got some young guys who are coming in. Hey, if they're going to win now, that's setting a good foundation for these young guys. So, I don't think that people are necessarily looking at it saying, hey, this is a super young team and they have no business being here. I think because of the veterans, they do have a chance, to win a series. But bigger picture, it's these young kids that give you a bright future.
Jeremy Rutherford is in studio with us. We welcome your 2-part questions sent in here as he joins us, brought to you by Pure Performance. 314-399-9646. You know that non-ling. I text with him throughout the course of the season and during games, during the Stanley Cup playoffs, and he wants to know if you got any answers to any lingering questions regarding Jordan Kyrou's health following the hit by Stanley in the first period Monday.
Yeah, what a
cats and dogs.
Yeah, I was telling somebody that you did not need the microphone down by ice level to capture that sound. I was sitting in the press box a couple hundred feet away, and you could hear the pads crunch. How he got up from that. I mean, this is a smaller guy, Jordan Kyrou, right? And he got clocked by Stanley. As far as the lingering effects, no. I mean, he came back. He sat on the bench for a few minutes, but got back out there, Tim, and then out there in practice yesterday. So, yeah, I'd be surprised if we saw anything even a couple days later here when we get down to practice.
They never tell you anything, of course, about the injuries, but I think maybe he had the wind knocked out of him. Because when you look on the bench, Ray Barilli was kind of lifting him up from the chest. You don't do that if you got a hit in the head.
Yeah.
So I think maybe he just had the wind knocked out of him and give him a few minutes to recover, and he's okay.
Yeah,
Hopefully that's what it was.
I guess. I mean, that Logan Stanley, 6'7", what is he, 240?
Yeah.
Yeah.
JR, are you taking any one-part questions?
One-part questions.
Yeah, I just did from the non-link. So
okay. Gee, don't get snippy. I get it. It's playoff time. Everybody's a little tense around here. What was it like being in the building in Winnipeg? It looked fun from the TV version.
It really is. In Canada in general, you go to Montreal, you go to Winnipeg, they're in their seats for warm-ups. And I'm talking every seat. Like, you guys know, you go to Toronto, there's sections that are empty, in warm-ups and leading up to the game, the corporate guys in that lower bowl. But when in Winnipeg, every seat full. And then during the game, I always say this, it's like watching a tennis match, because you see the heads go back and forth, because just like when they're watching tennis, you're watching this hockey game and the puck's going up and down the ice, and the heads, all 15,000 are going back and forth. But so loud. It's a smaller place. It only seats like 15,000, maybe 16. But I think that they get that whiteout going just nuts. I talked to Jimmy Snuggerud's dad, Dave, a couple days ago, and he goes, I don't know how Jimmy blocked it out. Like, I don't know. Like, that is a crazy, crazy atmosphere.
How does the Blues building compare with some of the other teams around the league for energy and noise level?
Yeah, it's good. I think that we all look back at the old arenas, like the old barn in St. Louis, and it just felt different. I think the newer age buildings, and I realize it's 30 years old, but are kind of more cookie cutter, right? And so
you think about the Norris Division buildings.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Louis,
the best,
weird building, but
Stadium.
Chicago Stadium, exactly right. I never was up there when the North Stars. That predates me. I don't know what the hell they played in, but yeah, there were some buildings that had character, I guess.
Yeah, because they were all unique, right? And some of the newer ones, it's nothing. The teams are doing the best that they can with what these new arenas are, but I think everybody's memory, goes back to the old buildings. And then with the newer ones, I think they're kind of stale just because they're all look-alike.
Kind of generic.
Yeah. But, the teams do the best they can to bring to life each one.
I think that Shark Tank is kind of cozy. That's a little intimidating. And then they have to skate across. I saw that in Winnipeg, too, where they have to skate across to leave instead of going behind the bench to leave. I remember that in San Jose, because then they take a lot more crap on the way off the ice.
Yeah, and nobody cares about the media, but up at press level, there's a bunch of beams in San Jose that make it a little tough. I was surprised that Riv didn't bring up the other day when he was talking to you guys. I went and saw his view in Winnipeg from the press box, and he's kind of got a beam that cuts out a corner of the ice. So if
he's
you hear,
still focused on Erickson X goal that's sent into Winnipeg.
Hey, I am too. But now I'd rather take the early start times than.
How about the 10 o'clock start?
Unbelievable.
Do you recall the Blues ever having a 10 o'clock start?
Not 10 o'clock, no.
Holy crap. And the Blues would have had that. They wouldn't have moved it around for St. Louis.
Yeah,
Minneapolis, a bigger market than St. Louis. I was alarmed by that.
Floored, yeah. And I realize, for the people who do go out to the game, you change your body clock a little bit. When I go out and cover games, it seems normal that it's 7, 8 o'clock out there. But the other night, when they dropped that puck, I'm here in St. Louis on my couch at 10 o'clock and falling asleep. Like, there's no way if this was a Blues game.
By 10, I'm ready for my cocoa and medications.
You're sitting in the lower bowl on the couch tonight, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if you've had a chance to talk with Daddy Padre, if he was around for
you. Think he doesn't reach out every day?
Well, we mean in the room in Winnipeg after the skate.
That's right. He texts in, Enterprise was way louder pre-2020, and since they've won, it's become more corporate feeling. The game is not nearly as loud in St. Louis. Daddy Padre, how about that? Critical of the fans. That's tough when a player during the playoffs is critical of the fans, Doug.
Yeah, I don't care for that.
Daddy Padre being critical? Come on.
We got the best fans in hockey.
We good. All right, I'm going to read a. We got a billion two-parters for JR in studio. We'll do those next. Jeremy Rutherford in studio. It's TMA, presented to you by Brown & Crouppen, 101 ESPN.
This is Action Jackson with a Sports Center update. That's brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Last night, the Celtics defeat the Magic 109-100, taking a 2-0 series lead. No Jason Tatum, no problem. Jaylen Brown goes off for 36 points and 10 boards. That was another Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
We fight, we claw, we'll never stop.
I like this one.
And I got a Caribbean flair.
Jobu's got our back, believe the plot. Blues on fire, yeah, we're red hot. Every pass, every check, every score. We're here for the fight, we want more. Fans in the stands, hear them roar. Blues and them loud, heart to the core.
Some auto tunes. TMA 101 ESPN. Jimmy Rutherford's in studio with us, taking two-part questions here, Doug. We're going to go rapid fire. Now, that means it's tough to filter on the fly.
Okay.
So if you want to sneak a breaking ball by, this would be the time to try to do it. 314-399-9646. Certainly a few questions in here about Dylan Holloway. It's such a weird spot. Like somebody said, what's the injury? And if they're not going to say, why not just say he's not going to play? I think we can take this we can ask any team in the NHL about this at this time of year, but even during the regular season now. What are your thoughts on it as somebody who has to cover the team, and anybody who ever has covered an NHL team kind of knows the program, but give us your perspective because you're in there more than anybody.
Yeah, Tim, it's tough because it does happen during the regular season too. And I will say this is unique to hockey. I mean, even in the NFL, a huge contact sport, obviously for betting purposes, you got the injury report out there, but baseball, Berkman, hobbles off and then he's in the locker room talking to reporters about the MRI that he got and it's negative. And there's a lot of details. In hockey, it's different. And you talk to players over the years, they will tell you that players come out and target those injuries when those things are disclosed. I've been saying for a couple weeks now, week to week with Dylan Holloway, and the fact that they say that means that it is likely longer and they're keeping it week to week. And so what's the injury? I think that we have a general idea of what he's dealing with. We all saw him wincing on the bench. There's got to be something there in terms of a hip, an oblique area injury that he could be dealing with. And I think that, is it rehab that can help him? I don't think that's the case. And so I think the Blues are probably looking at it from a standpoint that they're going to be without him for weeks, maybe the rest of the season, and we may not find out exactly what it is and what they knew at the time until the season's over.
Yeah, it's just it's the nature. Martin was saying it earlier on in the show. It's the nature of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and then you get that laundry list of injuries the day after a team is eliminated, and it's always like, oh my God, he was dealing with that. I can't, hopefully we don't hear it until June, but whenever the time comes, I have a feeling it's going to be a long list for the Blues. Two-parter, JR. Who is the most likely player to hit Connor so hard tonight that he no longer has an interest in playing sports? And are you going to watch Family Feud today? That's from Shooter McGavin. Doug, that's Steve Harvey's Family Feud.
Okay.
Well, you had Sundquist with the big game tonight, right? He's going to score.
He's going to score.
Yeah. So how about the hit? I'm going to say Braden Shen.
Braden Shen's a good play.
He'll light him up there. And yes, on Family Feud, we got an 11 o'clock morning skate today, and then a big window where I'm off for a few hours.
For a lot of Family Feud. I think you settle in and watch Family Feud.
Judge Judy, Family Feud.
You got a chance to see the young guys play their first Stanley Cup playoff game, a number of them, some of them picking up penalties on both Saturday and Monday. Now they're going to get their first Stanley Cup playoff game in a home atmosphere. So that's a whole different kind of adrenaline rush, I would imagine. You were talking with Dave Snuggerud about, man, I don't know how he's dealing with this, because this is quite a scene in Winnipeg. You also, on the other side of it, you're going to have everybody in support of you, and that place is going to be bat crap tonight. At the very outset, it's going to be bat crap tonight.
Yeah, well, and it's just controlling those emotions and getting to your game. I think the fact that they're down 2-0 will help you kind of, think straight, kind of feel like I've just got to play hockey. Pavel Buchnevich said it yesterday. Hey, look, we can go looking for these hits, but we still have to play hockey. But in terms of these young kids, I think they really are past, that learning curve of how to handle these games. I realize it's only 2 games, but you talk to a Bull Duke, you talk to, these guys that are committing these penalties, retaliatory penalties, neighbors also, they realize, what an impact those can have on a series. So, stick to the basics, stick to your game, and now you're going to have the crowd in your corner, Tim, like you said, and I think it's going to help these young guys.
Who, in your opinion, through the first 2 games has the best opportunity for room for improvement? And by that, I mean their ceiling is higher. I mean, you're not going to go, man, how come, the WTF line isn't scoring a bunch of goals? You know what that kind of is. Would it be 89?
Yeah, no, that was going to be my guy.
Yeah.
And I think that, look, they only have 1 5-on-5 goal, and it's from Sundquist. And the assists were Falk and Bolduc. So we're talking 5-on-5, Shen, Thomas, Buchnevich. None of these guys have a single point through 2 games in the series so far. To me, it would be Buchnevich, but I'm not trying to single him out. But yesterday, Montgomery was asked about him, and he said, hey, he's had the puck a few times and just hasn't been able to do anything with it. I talked to Buchnevich yesterday at his locker about what's going on here, and he said, what we need to do is get out of the corners. We need to spread out. We need to space out. And so I went back and watched a couple periods yesterday and kind of see more specifically what he's talking about. And he's right. There's 2, 3 forwards, Blues, bunched up in a tight spot, and that brings the Jets defenders over. There's no way that they can get the puck out, the Blues, and just start slinging it around the zone and kind of spread out the Jets. So I think if they can do that, that will help out that line and help out Buchnevich.
JR, we know there is a tremendous future for the team after this year. In your opinion, what does the top priority become for this team this offseason? That's from Doug Vaughn's Gong.
Doug Vaughn's Gong. I think that...
There it is, right there.
I think what they have to do, number 1 priority this summer, is figure out what they're going to do with the defense. And what I mean by that is Justin Falk, Nick Leddy. I think Cam Fowler's a guy that probably went back. But what are they going to do in terms of their top 6? Are they going to begin to incorporate like a Matt Kessel in there and maybe give him more opportunity? Are they going to go out and find a guy who's your second pair right defense and maybe they part with Justin Falk? I think there are some things defensively that they probably need to look at.
I got a 3-parter here.
Wow. 3.
2-parter with a sort of bonus 3rd for JR from Ian LaPerriere, too. So that's kind of fun. He's texted in. Do you see Texier playing tonight? If so, does a different forward sit to go with the 11-7? Would Montgomery do the unthinkable and have Tucker play over Letty, Suter, or even Falk? Boy, that'd be a moment.
Yeah, this is a guess just based on practice yesterday. I think that Texier is going to come in. I don't think we'll see Matthew Joseph come back, and I think the Blues will probably go back to the 6th defenseman. I don't think it would be putting Tucker in for somebody else. It's just my guess that Tucker would probably be the odd guy out. If they want the physicality, they want him in the lineup, potentially they go 11-7 again, but right now I think they're going to go with the 12 forwards and get Texier in there.
You talked about defensemen for next year. Would Krug be back?
I don't think so. I wish I could have his confirmation before I would say something like this, but everything that I'm hearing around the team is that he's done, but that's not confirmed from him or his camp.
Ask JR why in the world they're putting their version of Ovi and Snuggerud at the net front instead of the damn flank. That's from, again, inside the room, Daddy Padre. Very critical of both the building and now his teammates.
Yeah, I told you about the critical Daddy Padre there, right? Yeah. So it's a good question. I don't think in his career you're going to see Snuggerud at the net front like that. I think that's the spot that they want to put him in right now because they have guys who play other spots on that power play. But he's looked okay there. I just think that he's going to need to put on some muscle. He's going to need to get some experience. But right now, that's the spot that they have open for him.
Got to get to the blue paint.
Yes, they do.
That's what Monty said. Got to get to the blue paint. He wanted some net hunger.
I like that term, net hunger. Can anyone, including JR, name all of the Family Feud hosts over the years? There have been 6. I'd like to try.
Okay.
Try it. Yeah, try it.
Richard Dawson, Ray Combs.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
All these guys rest in peace.
Richard Karn. Louis Anderson.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Of course, Steve Harvey. Boy, who am I missing here? Martin, are you aware
Ryan
of who I'm missing?
Seacrest. No, I have no idea.
Jackson did better on the original 6 than you're doing here.
I got 5, JR.
Yeah, I guess there's 2. Did you say Ray Combs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, then you're missing 1.
Yeah.
John O'Hurley.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Before Harvey.
Well,
He now does a Westminster Dog Show, right? Same guy?
Does he do that? I don't know. Crowdsourcing aggressively.
I believe that he does.
I don't know, honestly.
Tim, you did better than me. I was going to say Len Dawson, but I think
Len Dawson, yeah, he enjoyed the dart with the Super Bowl.
Oh, Richard Carr, that's the guy from Home Improvement.
That's right. That's right, Martin.
Okay.
Will the Blues wear Bengals helmets in warm-ups instead of Chiefs helmets in the future? That's from MD 2020.
Good question.
Doug, the Bengals still have a home, don't they?
Well, they're coming here, from what I understand.
Okay.
You know, that's what I understand. Speaking of injuries, have you ever had one in the playoffs in the press box, run into the buffet or something, blow out?
Oh my goodness! I gotta go, guys. I came all the way in the studio for this. I could have gone straight down to Enterprise Center.
I'm concerned about
I drove
your health.
out of the way.
I'm concerned
There's
about
nothing like seeing the media eat.
But the health of not only the players, but the.
Do you know what kind of grief I'm going to get for this when I leave from the friends? Oh, my goodness. I actually had a friend text before I came in here asking if I was going to go to this Doty golf tournament. That's probably
Doty. Martin Doty's got a golf tournament.
There's a lot of cables run. There's a blue canopy.
He'll probably be there.
Yeah. I was going to go, but now I'm not. Now I'm not.
I once broke a tooth on a pretzel in the press box up there. Yeah, you got to be careful with that.
What, was the thing like still frozen in powder?
I just chomped on it wrong, I guess. And broke up part of my molar.
Did you play through it? Or you go on a 3-week vacation?
Yeah,
I stuck Savard with the show.
I needed time away after that.
Doug, same thing. Broke my tooth on a pretzel. The chocolate was still hard.
Wow, you guys are really plowing through. Joel Goldberg patted Mike Bush like on the back, and he fell off the riser. They would put in these risers for the media to sit, and like I don't know if he blew out his Achilles.
No way.
Ended up in a boot.
I remember that. Yeah.
Holy crap.
So it does happen from time to
before
time.
the playoffs, Goldie and I got together and said, we're going to have to take Bush out. Yeah,
gotta do what you got to do.
And we've heard about guys getting hit with pucks and foul balls, hitting announcers. It's not that safe. You got to be tough to get through it in this business.
Are you wearing your Festus needlepoint belt? I think I referenced this the other day, that you might have a needlepoint belt.
I do not. You know how little a needlepoint belt would look on a big guy?
The self-made stay-at-home Ledoux mom actually has an observation there. Hey, JR, it was brought up yesterday that you may or may not own a needlepoint belt. If you do not, which I assume you don't, what size would you be? I've got nothing but free time for a larger, stinkier cake. Oh. Also, do you think the last change will help Monty and the boys who's sharing stocks? That's from the self-made stay-at-home Ledoux mom.
Is that a lady, Doug?
Sharon Clayton is a lady.
She's a lady? Yeah.
Season ticket holder.
No, I got rid of all.
Dropped and it's in the opening period.
See, this is what happens to us. We got to be tough to get through it.
Hey, and I do have to give Jackson a shout-out for these drops today, because here's the thing. I was getting ready to come out here. I was getting dressed with my needlepoint belt and my skinny tie and all that stuff. And I heard the voice of Jimmy the Cat Hayes. And I thought to myself for a few minutes, I haven't seen Jimmy in a while. I'll get out to the station and see Jimmy. He's been at training camp. It's been a while since I've been to a Cardinal game. So we'll see him. But no, it was a drop.
It was a drop.
And I thought he was here. So
I was wearing Jordan Walden's underwear on the way home.
Right there.
So disappointed to come in and just see you guys.
Which I believe was a response to Joe Strauss, who said the Cat is having a Jordan Walden balloon party, which was the origination of the show, Balloon Party. Dalibor Dvorsky looked great his first game up. What would it take for him to see ice time in the playoffs? That's from Tim's Toothless Bottom Boy.
Well, the thing would be he'd have to be in St. Louis. Like, if he were in St. Louis, he'd have a better chance to play in a playoff game.
Well, where is he?
Oh, that was very Gabe DeArmond post-game show answer right there.
Condescending.
I liked it, Jay. That's what happens. You get on the show long enough.
Well, I was doing fine until I was told that my health was in...
That was by one of the hosts.
He was worried about everyone in the press box. We got to really grind to get through this playoff.
Does JR have any cute half-brothers I can kiss tonight? And would Peter Chyanek help us more right now if we bring him back? That's from Doug. Mrs. Gianni Shanahan said that.
No, that's got to be from one of my half-brothers.
CGIANEK? Is that how you spell it? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. JR, we know you got to get to the skate 11 o'clock, and then you're going to watch Family Feud for about 8 hours before you're down to the
now skipping the skate, Weight Watchers, and then
Doug shamed
Family
you.
Feud. Yeah.
I didn't shame him. I asked him if he'd been hurt. You could pull a hammy going for the ham.
Hey, for enduring that, though, can I get some free tickets to that Doty golf thing?
Doty. We have the Dotem coming up on May 29th and May 30th. And then, Doug, the Doty is sometime in July.
You could play in it. You want to play in it?
Yeah, watch out for the cables.
He's going to be in L.A. for the Blues and Kings Game 5.
Right. That's right. There you go.
Yeah, with the Chevron.
With the Chevron logo. Ladies and gentlemen, there he is. That's Jeremy Rutherford.
All right,
Take a break. Come back with more TMA 101 ESPN. The name of the game is accessibility, and our sponsors make sure they're accessible to the TMA audience, and Stewie certainly is as accessible as you can get. Here's his personal cell phone number, 314-324-4440, and Stewie joins us right now. Volatile times, Stewie, but that can be an opportunity to take advantage of it, and especially with people monitoring income and monitoring rates. What do you got?
Well, Tim, people make a very, very big mistake when it comes to getting a mortgage. They think the more money you make, the better the rate. That's not true. There are special government programs out there for people that make less money versus more money. So a couple came to me and said, hey, I'm making $75,000. My wife is making $100,000. We make great money. We're going to get a great rate. No, you're not going to get the great rate. So what do we do? Well, if we can qualify you just on your wife's income of $75,000, you're going to get the better deal. So we can ignore the other person's salary and give them the better program. You can do this. You have to work with somebody that knows what they're doing, but you can do this. So when you go to apply for a mortgage, ask the lender, which is us, hey, I'm making this, but is there a way to get those special programs for lower income?
How about that? 314-324-4440. That's Stewie. That's his personal cell phone number. Or you can Google the bagel loan. It's Stewie with Stewart's American Mortgage. Thanks a lot, Stewie.
Have a great day.
Alex P is in our head. Calling Gloria.
Oh, you wanted it, Doug. This is what you got.
Yeah, I like the real version, but this is okay.
This is a real version.
This is the real
real
version. And covered this. Ass.
Thank you, Tim.
And if you need an answer, ask the boys on every line. Oh, calling Gloria.
I just think the real one would have given this club a real shot in the arm.
What about the chorus group behind the lead singer?
They don't really seem to be into it too much.
They clearly didn't leave one mic.
And so you just almost feel them leaning in to be heard at all.
Raise our voices loud and sing when the saints go marching in. Calling Gloria.
Oh, my. Will they bring it back tonight, Doug?
They should. After every win, they should bring it back. That should be our song.
What about the Blues?
Every win,
all right.
all the time.
But the Blues all right. Hey.
Those are good songs for intermissions.
The Blues all right. Hey. Oh, you'll be hearing it tonight at around 11:37 in downtown St. Louis.
Okay.
The Mound City will be rocking in preparation for a Sunday matinee to even the series and create a best-of-3 that will include the Sundress Showdown Friday, May 2nd.
Oh, gosh.
A lot of H's there.
Okay, I'll try to prepare myself for
Thank
the
you.
showdown. I don't own a sundress now, but I guess I could go thrifting and find one.
You guys stay out for the whole game, Doug?
Sure.
Oh.
After I have my cocoa and my medication.
Doug, get ready for the Doty. Also known as the Dotem. Tee off with TMA at the return of the Dotem Golf Tournament presented by Michelob Ultra. Now, JR is playing in a competing event. It's kind of like
Opposite field.
Live. Yeah, Yasser Al-Ramayan has created the Doty. The Dotem is presented by Michelob Ultra. It's May 29th and May 30th at Oak Valley Golf Course and Resort. Get your foursome together, and you can register starting at 8 a.m. on 101ESPN.com tomorrow. That's a full day out on the course with TMA. You can play on the 29th or the 30th or both of them. Complimentary breakfast from Donut Drive-In included. Lunch from Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken included. After party food from Texas Roadhouse on Thursday. Super Smokers Barbecue on Friday included. All your Michelob Ultra, that's included as well. All in with the fees, the whole shooting match. It'll be $170 per golfer for the festivities. May 29th and May 30th at Oak Valley Golf Course and Resort. Registration opens tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. on 101ESPN.com. And our charity partner this year, the St. Louis Hero Network, in honor of the late, great Brian McKenna. He'd be all fired up for tonight. I guarantee you that. That guy lived and died with the Blues. He was all in every single year. Remember talking to him. The podcast that I did with him was, I think, the morning after the Blues beat the Sharks, if memory serves, to advance to the Stanley Cup Finals. And he was one of the guys, a lot of those people who'd been going to games for decades, just hoping for that moment. It was so cool to talk to him the morning after. And that was just coincidentally when we had scheduled to do the podcast. So there it is. The Dotem, also known as the Doty. Find all your information at 101ESPN.com, and you can register your foursome by going to 101ESPN.com starting tomorrow at 8 a.m. The tournament in a little more than a month. There you go, Doug. It's going to be a pony.
All right. I'm sure it will be. I'm set now. You kind of set the stage, so I'm okay.
So you're feeling better about things.
I'm starting to feel a little bit better about things.
I see in the Stiefel dossier, along with Bernie Federko and Jeremy Rutherford, who've been on the program, if you want to go back and podcast, Schaefer Door Company podcast, Jackson asks this question. Jackson, why don't you ask it? It's 9-1 in the Stiefel dossier.
No problem.
It is. It's an organic dossier.
Ooh, yeah, it's a good one. In your memory, what are some of your favorite short-term organic rivalries that have popped up in the playoffs for St. Louis sports teams? I'm thinking San Jose Sharks in 2019, maybe the Brewers in 2011, that kind of thing.
Cardinals Giants back in the 80s.
That's a nice play. That's a nice play. And then the Cardinals played the Giants in 2002. 12, 14. Didn't win any of them, but did play them.
Yeah.
In LCSs, too.
Yeah. Well, it seems like every year.
I think even the Giants might say the Cardinals had the better team in all three of them.
They may. Yeah.
14, probably. 14 the Dodgers right before that. That was a good.
Matt Adams, Clayton Kershaw, how do you do? That's where the Mound City originated, too, by the way, Vin Scully. With
I think it was Adrian Gonzalez and Yasiel Puig was like the Mickey Mouse thing.
Yeah.
That they were
they
really
were
leaning
sideways
into.
with Adam Wainwright. He's obviously a difficult guy to get along with.
Yeah.
As far as this one was always weird because they were battle for the Central, and then they played in back-to-back NLCSs. The Cardinals and Astros, but it was kind of like it was. I remember being described as a respectful rivalry, but it was intense. I mean, 04 went to 7, 05 went to 6. That featured the Lidge Pools moment. I think as far as like hatred in postseason series, I think that baseball-wise, the Cardinals and Giants had some intensity in '87.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. Blues-wise,
Avs in 22, thinking recently, but that probably in the grand
I feel like the Kiprios thing got it going pretty good. Courtnall.
Does Chicago count when Belfour is slamming his stick against the goal?
But the Blues, did they sweep them in that series? I know I'm crowdsourcing. Either way.
Still a good rivalry.
Yeah, but that is like
the
their rival.
Blackhawks, but I don't know if it was...
Right, I'm thinking more organic, like pure. I think there's no reason
And I think Red Wings, that would be my go-to.
Mets from the
But
80s.
they were never in the postseason.
Yeah. Well, with when was the Pond Scum thing?
That was the 80s.
Yeah.
In 2000, they played them, but that wasn't much of a series. 2006, but I don't really feel like there was hatred in 2006.
I didn't like Andy Chavez after he robbed my evening of glory. Still the best catch I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Andy, yeah, for sure.
Was the Niger Morgan stuff postseason or was that regular
It
season?
started in the regular season with him tweeting that the Cardinals would be sitting at home watching his Brewers. And then, in a wonderful twist of irony, 5 weeks after the tweet was sent, the Cardinals were the ones to send him home.
Yeah, and I think he started playing in like Japan or something right after that.
Yeah, it all ended very quickly.
He threw his dip at like Carpenter. And
Yeah, that falls under the umbrella of bad idea genes. Carpenter looked at him with the same disdain he would look at us when we would set up shop at spring training. But unlike our presence, he also had a confusion when he would look at Niger Morgan like, oh, you're actually in the major leagues and I don't know who you are and somehow you're yapping at me.
I remember Albert also had a similar look of confusion. He was like, I can't believe this kind of short, smaller guy is going to go after Carp.
You guys are forgetting my Battlehawks vicious rivalry with San Antonio. That's from the Orson Woods Wacko. Don't forget that.
Okay.
That one.
I guess there wasn't a series, but the Rams and Titans kind of became a thing.
Yeah.
When the Titans were the first team to beat the Rams in '99, knocked them off from being undefeated. Then they saw them again in the Super Bowl and beat them that time.
It wasn't a prolonged rivalry, but watching the Blues just flip that switch against the Sharks after the
Sharks of the 19 one. That was the one.
Okay.
Manute Eligible says Ralph Benershk.
Doug?
Ralph Benershka, the kicker who went on to host a little bit of TV himself, didn't he?
Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah. That was odd. Our kicker just retired. Welp, now he's on Wheel of Fortune. Huh?
He was hosting it?
Yes.
Like in someone's stead? Where he was like became
he
the
was
new
a regular
host.
guy for a year or two, I think.
Isn't it the Sajak vehicle?
Rams and Saints is a nice one from Chairman Stephen Wildwood. There was some hatred there. That's a nice play.
Yeah.
It's a little obscure, but they did play in the postseason. The hatred was more regular season, but that was a nice little back and forth. Hazlitt and Martz. That's a nice play, Chairman Stephen Wildwood. People are now just sending in the names of kickers for no particular reason. That's going
Neil
on.
O'Donoghue. I don't recall Neil O'Donoghue hosting any primetime game shows, but probably could have.
Jimmy Baseball made many better catches than that Andy Chavez grab. Jackie Boy was probably just too busy watching the St. Louis Swarm. That's from the River to Pear Yacht Captain. Were you not watching Cardinal playoff games because you were watching Swarm games? Is that Bernie Bickerstaff, Doug?
Probably.
Doug Smith, Buck Grimm?
I told the story when Edmonds came in with us on Balloon Party, the years 2004. Me and my family, I guess, driving somewhere. We were in Cincinnati, me, my mom, and my dad. My dad said, do you want to come to the Cardinal game with me? It was 2004, so I'm 6 years old. Or my mom was like, we can go to the aquarium tonight. Which one do you want to go to? Stupid, I choose the aquarium. That night, Jimmy Edmonds...
You can see fish anywhere.
Jim Edmonds pulls off what some consider the best catch of his career over the shoulder, climbing the wall in Cincinnati.
The rob a home run.
And I missed it. Could have been at that game, but I went to the... And someone called him like a bomb threat to the aquarium, so I didn't even go to the aquarium.
You couldn't even see the flounder.
I didn't even go to the aquarium.
Oh.
Sucks.
I think Edmonds' best catch was that one in Anaheim that was hit over his head.
Where he dove
He ran
over
as
his
fast
head.
as he could with his back to the infield, dove headlong without even being able to see the ball, caught it somehow.
Yeah, that was actually, he was with the Angels, and it was in Kansas City.
Wow.
Yeah.
There was a home run he robbed where he was smiling afterwards. He looked like he was surprised by it.
He's told the story about that one because Isringhausen was pitching, and he said they were hanging out, perhaps having a libation a night or two beforehand, and Isringhausen was giving him crap, saying, how come you never do that when I throw one of those? And so he was laughing and holding it up because Isringhausen was the pitcher. And he's like, now you finally got yours. That's the backstory of the laughter on that home run. Fun facts for no and tell, Doug. It's fun facts
Nice
for no and
little
tell
fact.
here to get you ready for the Blues and Jets Game 3. TMA 101 ESPN and the TMA STL YouTube channel.
TMA is brought to you by St. Louis-based Stifel, a leading wealth management and investment banking firm. Stifel is the firm where success meets success and has been since 1890. It's a historic company in St. Louis. They were founded downtown in 1890, and they are on the same street today where that company was headquartered way back when. People are proud to call St. Louis home for 135 years now at Stifel. They partner with the St. Louis Cardinals also, and the Blues, and now the Stifel Charity Classic. They also sponsor Stifel Theater. Stifel is honored to support the city, the people, and the future. With financial advisors in 12 offices across the region, Stifel helps clients right here in St. Louis and nationwide manage their hard-earned wealth. Stifel also provides banking, lending, and trust services and has a full-service investment bank. Basically, when it comes to finance, Stifel has you covered. As one of the fastest-growing wealth management firms in the world, their tagline is where success meets success. Stifel Nicholas and Company, Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
TMA 101 ESPN.
I can barely hear this. Well, I thought he was going into the segment.
Oh, you third person.
Blues charging forward in the playoff.
You think this is Twitter come to life?
Sometimes it feels like that.
You think it is?
When the people start texting in, yeah. What do you know? Burners are grilling my ass.
I got to tell you, it's not fair, and he may be listening. I feel like Martin's finally got like going, what in the hell? It took 6 months. It's like, what's the deal with this?
Yeah.
It wasn't this way when I was on in 2006.
Can imagine.
It's TMA 101 ESPN and the TMA STL YouTube channel. How about this? Jackson, I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Oh, okay.
But I think you might be able to arrive at where I'm going.
All right.
Mount Rushmore of worst organizations in the 4 major North American.
Oof. Yeah.
And if you can name this one, it then leads into a story.
Okay.
Now, I think you sent the link, so it's a little tainted, but I think that it would be, I think they'd be live for the conversation. They might not be Mount Rushmore, but.
I'm going to pick one from each individual sport.
Oh, wow. What a treat for us.
This is a treat.
NFL will go Cleveland Browns.
It's a nice play.
In the NBA, I will go with the Charlotte Hornets, although the Wizards are really giving them a run for their money. In ice hockey, I will probably say Utah just because of the debacle of Phoenix last year. And then baseball, it's a North California, or I'm sorry, just California split. Shout out to Robert Altman and Los Angeles Angels, I'll say.
Nice. Well, Doug, the Los Angeles Angels have alienated fans. They've enjoyed spending money on position players and then not getting any pitching over the last decade, and now they've alienated their current roster. If it were up to many Los Angeles Angels players, they'd enjoy a late afternoon plane ride after today's game against the Pirates, landing in Minnesota at a reasonable hour. They'd get dinner, a restful night's sleep, and all the time they needed to prepare for Friday's game against the Twins, which, of course, is a rematch of the 2002 ALCS. That's fun, isn't it?
Good times, yeah. Good times.
That's what would have happened had the Angels followed the standards set across the league and played an early afternoon getaway day game against the Pirates. It's a common practice that's followed almost universally across the sport. Instead, the Angels scheduled Thursday's game for 6:29 p.m., 9 minutes earlier than their typical evening start time of 6:38. It's the latest possible minute allowed for first pitch, according to baseball's collective bargaining agreement. They'll watch the sun rise over the land of 10,000 lakes and attempt to win on very little sleep. Mike Trout, he's not really known to be a banty rooster in his Hall of Fame career. He said, well, it's not ideal for sure. I don't know when we're supposed to land, but it's going to be early, and we've got to play that night. And the worst part about it is the next day is a day game. This is not a mere accident of the schedule, however. This was a conscious decision made by Angels management, one that frustrated their players and people throughout the organization, according to multiple interviews. Many view it as an exhausting and unneeded hurdle and actively works against their own chances to win. Kenley Jansen, just experiencing the Angel magic here for the first time after being a part of a couple teams that have struggled over the last quarter century, the Dodgers and Red Sox. I don't think it's healthy for anybody to finish playing a night game like that, get in at 6 in the morning, then you got a 7 o'clock game, and the next couple days you got 1 o'clock games. It's definitely not fair. Of course, that fairness is set up by their own organization.
Right.
Nor is this a league-wide issue. The Angels have earned a reputation for playing the most late getaway days and scheduling some in particularly difficult travel situations where other teams would avoid them. 2019, for example, the Angels played 11 of their 13 weekday getaway games at night.
Oh, Jesus.
The year before that, there were 9 of 12 such games, and while they have played more getaway games earlier in the day in subsequent years, it remains an issue. Quote, I don't think it should be allowed, to be honest. I think there definitely should be rules in place to prevent that because it's kind of crazy. it is allowed technically to understand why. Doug, flip to page 426 of the collective bargaining
I'm not
agreement.
going to.
Jesus.
The final page of a document that governs the entire sport, and there is a chart of agreed upon calculated flight times between every MLB city. For the Angels and Twins, the league and union agreed that a flight should take 3 hours and 1 minute, and the CBA states the latest possible time for getaway games shall be determined by taking the portion of the in-flight time that exceeds 2.5 hours and then subtracting that amount of time from 7 p.m., hence 6:29 p.m., and that is the time you can tune in tonight, Doug, to watch the Angels take on the Pirates.
I'll miss it.
I'll miss
crazy. They must think they can't sell any tickets during the day.
Yeah, right. Has to be.
There'd be no other reason, right?
Right. It would make no logistical sense.
Yeah.
The rule of thumb is the later the start time on weekdays, the higher the attendance, and therefore more revenue generated. And when asked about it, Angels president Johnny Carpino said it's a pretty big difference. The last time he answered a question about it was 2019. We're trying to balance player health and well-being with fans being able to see high-profile teams. The high-profile team they're facing tonight, of course, the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
It's Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonilla. Oh, there's Doug Drabeck pulling a slab. That'll be fun. Is Bob Walk still on the team?
I don't think so. He's one of the announcers. But if you were going to look for a franchise even worse than the Angels, the Pirates would be in the running with the Athletics, too, probably.
Yeah, I think those three. Although, like, the Pirates have, like, I'm not saying the Angels, I don't think too much.
Jackson talks about their hat.
No, I'm not correct. I've missed the old Halo hat.
No, I thought the Pirates hat was.
World class. But the stadium and the Angels, like, at least the Pirates have an awesome stadium. Like,
Angels have a good stadium.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it on TV, but I haven't heard people be like, oh, you got to go see the Angels stadium.
No, it's across the street from where the Ducks play, too.
Okay. I like that convenience. Like, Philly has all their
across the highway, really. It's
all their buildings in one place.
Droid Effect says, well, Trout could have left. He took the money over winning. Like, that's in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat.
Players don't do that here. They play for the fans here, not the money. That's what we've got over the Angels.
So I'm kind of looking at tonight's Angels-Pirates game and going, huh. And then how do I workshop that to give the Tam Avenue Capital Partners what we are known for, Doug, and that is a market advantage.
Yeah.
The Tam Avenue Capital Partners, synonymous with market advantage. Mm-hmm. Do they just go, okay, boys, no more than 3 pitches in your at-bat? Do they go, we don't really care, let's shove it up their backsides and get worked over by the Pirates?
Tyler Anderson starting for the Angels.
The Angels are minus 165. The Pirates are plus 139. The total runs is 9. It's awfully intriguing.
That is high. And Tyler Anderson's really good.
So the Tam Avenue Capital Partners are monitoring it, and we're talking with our people. We might do another round of funding just to really unload on this one.
As tough as that travel schedule is, remember these are mostly 20-something professional grade A athletes. And you remember how many times when we were in college, we'd drink till 3 in the morning, maybe get to sleep by 4, and you were up and at it the next day? You can just do it at that age.
I know a 48-year-old who drank ranch water all day and then watched Family Feud last night.
And then it's different if you're 25 and the prime of your life and in peak shape, you can do it. You wouldn't want to do it a lot. Yeah, and it would be uncomfortable, but you can do it.
Right. And this is one thing in April, but if you pull this stunt in August, after 4 or 5 months of baseball, guys you're really going to see it,
Yeah, probably.
Speaking of teams alienating people, did you see what happened with the Baltimore Orioles and their streaming service?
No.
They have a streaming service that you can pay, I think, $89.99 for the year.
Similar to St. Louis.
Yeah, and mistakenly charged fans $8,999.
Wow, I wonder if anybody caught that on their statements.
Cards were getting declined left and right.
Imagine.
Did they explain that, how that happened?
I think they just said sorry. I was going to do the gift card thing, but Martin's got. I can't do it like he does.
Yeah, he's cornered the market. You can give your thoughts by texting in 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. And, of course, email in for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email today, which is coming your way here in a matter of moments. JV golf coach with the lead for the month of April. James Carlton's in the lead for being the best insurance agent in the history of the world. He's online at carltoninsurance.net, 314-961-4800, or just Google. Type in James Carlton State Farm, and you're going to see 423 5-star reviews with people raving about the customer service and the way that James and his team save them money. 314-961-4800, or go online at carltoninsurance.net. If your insurance costs a leg and an arm, call James Carlton State Farm. Design Air Heating and Cooling email today is next. This is TMA 101 ESPN.
This is Action Jackson with a Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Game 3 in St. Louis, and you can catch it right here on 101 ESPN as the Blues take on the Jets. Pre-game at 7:30, puck drop at 8:30. That was another Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's the morning after 101 ESPN. Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today coming up. Then BK and Ferrario, top of the hour. Attention business owners. Did you know fire codes require your company's fire alarm system to be inspected and maintained by a certified fire alarm service provider? It's not just about compliance. It's about protecting your employees, customers, and property. That's where EDF Group's Fire and Security Division comes in, proudly serving St. Louis and beyond. EDF Fire and Security specialize in keeping businesses safe and secure. From expert fire alarm inspections to advanced commercial security systems, they've got you covered. And it doesn't stop there. With 24/7 fire alarm and security monitoring, you'll have peace of mind knowing your business is protected every hour of the day. Don't wait until it's too late. Call EDF Group's Fire and Security Division today and let them help you stay compliant, secure, and safe. Visit the edfgroup.com or call 314-993-8053 to learn more. EDF Group, your partner in fire safety and security. It is time for the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day. Hey! 7 is a lucky number, unless that 7 is the times you have been filtered out in the month of April from the email of the day competition.
Oh, gosh.
This email is important. I've accepted Andy Hanselman's nomination to be on the Dotem Open Rules Committee. Andy Hanselman is on a Dotem Open? I didn't know we had a rules committee.
It's like a satellite committee.
This emailer may be confusing that with the
fan page.
Correct.
Championship.
And my first order of business is that all par fives will be played with one arm, so everybody knows what Tim is dealing with his bad shoulder. But this email is really about the first time I saw a guy get wristy. We go over to my buddy Ace's house. Didn't you have a friend named Ace when you were growing up?
I think it was Kiefer Sutherland's character in Stand By Me.
Sam Ace Rothstein and Kiefer Sutherland are the only two Aces I can think of. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Ace
Mount
Bailey.
Rushmore.
Garnet Ace Bailey was a hockey player.
Also a star player for Rutgers last year.
Was he?
Yeah.
And I believe Ace Bailey, the old Blues player, was killed in the 9/11. He was on one of those planes.
Ooh.
Didn't mean to bring down the mood here.
We were all over at my buddy Ace's house. His dad was super cute. Full head of well-manicured hair.
No.
5'6". Kind of had a Ray Combs thing going on.
Ray Combs.
Aforementioned.
Right. After 3 giant pork steaks, he took a nap in their hammock. Then my buddy Butchie pulled a Babe Ruth and called his shot. Everybody be super quiet. I'm going to sneak up and give Mr. Edwards the old yankin' stank.
No.
With that, he army crawled beneath the hammock and pulled down Tommy's dad's pant.
Stop it, Miller. This is Kevin Miller, isn't it?
I don't know that.
Is that the end of the email?
Probably should be.
Yeah. This is. Am I in the filtered file or am I in the unfiltered?
It's one and the same today.
Oh, is that right? Wow.
Kevin Miller.
Hi, guys. I'm going to get right to it. Douglas Vaughn, you're upset that Ryan Helsley isn't allowed to pitch in high-stakes situations like the 5th with 2 outs and the bases loaded with the 9-hole hitter up and we're winning or losing by 1 run. What's the most important out? The one that seals the win. Why are you so damn set on getting 3 outs in a 7th, injuring an all-star closer and ruining the only trade bait the Cardinals have? The last program in this time slate might have suckled at the last program in this time slate may have suckled at the teat of the Cardinals, but at least they could come up with a better take than using a closer in 2nd inning because 4-hole hitter is up and tied game.
Now we've gone to the 2nd inning, not the 7th or 8th as I was suggesting, but the 2nd. And if you ever use him, he's going to get hurt.
I don't know. I think you're getting
unlike all the other pitchers.
You're getting owned right now.
Yeah.
Do the math on that!
Oh.
It's mostly likely 0-0.
Who wrote this? He's going to be suspended. Who wrote it?
Anyway, I've been wanting to try my hand at this email of the day thing since meeting the chairman when having my dad's sound story recorded with Dave Glover. It was a great experience. Tim is a very intelligent, creative guy. Jackson, on the 1st, will you please enter my name as the tool guy? Trolling out of love. And I'm a handyman. Doug, I didn't say anything perverted, so even though I went off on your terrible take, please lift your tariffs and don't block me. Love the show. Thanks. That's from Tool Guy.
Sorry, Tool Guy, you have indeed been suspended for a hideous email. I mean, a really bad one. You've been suspended a period of 2 days' time, and you'll be issued a 20% tariff.
20% tariff? Happy Thursday, lads. Medium or medium rare steak for me. Top 3 steaks in the area: Stony River and Chesterfield, Tubby's Pub and Grub in St. Charles, and Tony's on Main Street, St. Charles. If we could only put together a crew for Shotsky of Bleach Shots, this would be my Mount Rushmore: Stan Kroenke, Caller Adam, Pestis from Festus, and Nazim Kadri. The Kiel Center will be ramping up security in the lower boulder in the Kiss Cam portion of the game. Caller Adam is doing his best. Joe Diffie and trying to be a pickup man. Blues and 7 cheers. That's from my cousin Vinny. Doug, that's what we have for the design.
Oh, my.
Good batch.
My cousin Vinny. Ouch. Man. It's certainly not Tool Guy. He's suspended with tariff.
Against it. You might have to vote for him.
I may need some time to think about this. I'll give it to Kevin Miller.
Oh, my goodness.
We didn't even get to the end of his, Doug.
That's why he was still eligible.
I'm going Tool Guy.
I like Tool Guy as well.
Tool Guy is one designer.
Congratulations.
Including email of the day.
Oh, that was the worst email we've had in a long time. Long time.
Congratulations to Tool Guy. And for that email, you're going to Big League Bash featuring Adam Wainwright on Sunday, July 27th at the Factory. Join Adam Wainwright for an unforgettable evening of music, sports, and giving back to support Big League Impact. Plenty of live music, including a headlining performance from Adam Wainwright, plus special appearances by Cardinal players, a visit from Fred Bird, and more. Find all the ticket details for the Big League Bash now at 101ESPN.com. BK and Ferrario are up next. For Jackson Burkett, for Chairman Kurt, for Martin Kilcoyne, from Remember the Kevin, for Douglas Elvin Vaughn, I'm Tim McKernan. This has been TMA on 101 ESPN, presented to you by Brown & Crouppen.